It is October 30th, 2018. I'm your host, JD, of the Red Leaf Retrocast Wrestlecast edition. This is episode 16. And unfortunately, Rad could not make it today. Life got in the way. But thankfully, I have our essentially regular guest host, in Jay from the Smack It Down podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It sounds like I got a promotion. Regular guest host.
Regular guest host. You heard me right.
Bam.
I'm a regular guest host on your podcast, it seems.
Well, that is true. I like your company, man. I like your company.
I enjoy yours. Well, lots of women's wrestling has happened lately, has it not?
It has. We had Evolution. We've been having Best of the Super Junior Tag League. We had friggin' Global Wars. Evolution again. Bunch of crap.
Yeah, and to go with this episode, our Wrestlecast Spotlight is over one of the original ECW guys, and this is a tag team called the Public Enemy. Then we're going to go into our indie stuff, which will cover Rise Wrestling, a promotion we've mentioned in the past once, but there was quite the Iron Woman match that happened, followed by Rev Pro Global Wars. We're going to catch up with Lucha Underground as they head into Ultima Lucha Quattro. Pretty cool. New Japan's had their tag league, like you said, Jay. Going to go into that. Evolution from WWE happened with the conclusion of the Mae Young Classic. Then finally, WCW Uncensored 1998. Yes, it is that time of the year again for the podcast. We've covered WCW Thunder up to the point of another pay-per-view, so it should be really fun. But to start off this episode, over the course of the weekend, yes, I have totally taken this idea from another podcast, Wilfred Watches and New Japan Talks, I believe that's their Twitter handle. Go check them out.
Sure.
They had an episode over starting their own wrestling promotion. Specifically, they wanted to reboot WCW, and I thought that was just a super fun idea. So, Jay, with you, with Rad, with Travis, who runs a really fun wrestling YouTube channel and the Union Smack podcast, along with Colin, he's been a fan since day one. We all did our own fantasy draft with the stipulations. You can only have max one veteran over the age of 40 years old in your 10 picks. You have to have at least one woman on your roster, and pleasantly happy that we didn't just pick one, all five of us. That was nice. What were the other stips?
One champion, one veteran, at least one woman, no repeats.
Yes, no repeats. We're not allowed to pick the same person twice, because we're all starting our own promotion, right?
We are.
And yes, the big one was you can only have one active champion upon when we were picking within WWE, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. So kind of the big three going in the world right now.
Anything else like Walter having 20 titles was fine because he didn't have a big title.
Right, he's not a part of Ring of Honor, New Japan, or WWE. So most people won't know him. The casuals won't know him, basically.
That's debatable.
Well, maybe now, because he's just getting titles everywhere. In PWG, OTT, Progress, WXW. He's held a quote-unquote title in 4 different countries at this point.
He's also got the Internet Championship for Defiant.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Defending against Phantasmo coming up here.
That is a promotion you are quite fond of.
I do. I like them.
Don't meet a lot of people.
Off and watch wrestling.
Don't meet a lot of people that like Defiant. Alrighty. Well, let's get into our draft. So I do have all the picks here in front of me. So, fortunately, I've had internet problems this morning. So there is no live stream, but it will be uploaded later to the YouTube in its full entirety. Let's see. Motion. And I have reasons listed for everyone else here. So The way it went down was we did a serpentine draft, which means it rolls back. So whoever picks first in round 1 will pick last in round 2, and then first in round 3, etc., etc. So Travis picked first, Colin picked second, I, JD, picked third, Jay, you picked fourth, Rad picked last. The order. So round 1. Here we go. Ready for this?
I am.
Okay, super fun.
Am I doing my picks, or are you doing my picks? What's going on?
You can do your picks since you have yours in front of them. So,
I don't have my list.
Oh, well, okay. I can say the name, and then you can give me your reason.
Sounds good.
All right. So we'll do Travis's 10. We're just gonna do the 10, so we're not here forever. We got a lot to talk about. Travis went Chris Jericho for his number 1 pick. Jordan Grace. Chris Jericho, he said, needs a locker room leader, and that was his champion and veteran in 1 pick. That was interesting right off the bat.
Solid choice.
Yeah, for sure. Big draw. Jordan Grace was number 2. He simply said the future, so that could mean a number of things. I think he just likes thick women. THICC. 3 was Adam Cole. He said the total package. Clearly, he likes what he sees downstairs. 4 was Tyler Bate. He likes big, strong boys. I think we see a theme with his picks, don't we, Jay?
Yeah, big packages.
Just big packages. 5, Pentagon Jr. He didn't give me a reason for that one, so I assume he's into that BDSM to go with his big packages. 6 was Kevin Owens. Now he started giving me reasons. Completely going to be my Austin-ish tweener character. So Kevin Owens was probably my favorite pick from him, for sure. And I'm surprised he lasted that long. Six picks in between all 5 of us.
Yeah, actually, there's a few people I'm surprised didn't get picked a lot earlier.
Yeah. And then this is where his picks started getting a little weird here. 7 was Lars Sullivan. So he's kind of, he said, needs a monster heel to regulate shit. So, I get it. I picked a different monster heel type guy. So I think we're in the same mind. We just had different characters for who it was. Montez Ford was his 8th pick. The guy has charisma on levels of The Rock.
F the Street Profits.
Ooh. I don't know about that. Oh, he even said it is much better being settled in a tag team.
Dude, I don't like the Street Profits.
I don't like him either. I don't see what he sees in this guy at all. I see a dude that has a cup in his hand, personally.
Yep.
Yeah. They did just win the Evolve tag team titles over the weekend.
Don't matter.
Well, the Evolve tag titles don't matter specifically, that's for sure. But the whole company's been gutted so hard. Like, I'm wondering if this is the start of the maneuver for WWE to buy Evolve, since Triple H likes it so much, and since there's the heavy rumor of NXT going to TV, this would be the next kind of network promotion that they're gonna put up, throw in front of us.
So what? This would be the NXT to NXT.
Right. Yep. Just my kind of theory, especially with all the NXT kind of talent that doesn't have much to do going to Evolve right now.
Yeah,
so,
no, I can see that. I'm not big on Evolve, man.
I was big on Evolve. I've been doing quite a number of shows, and then I didn't go anymore because all the guys were gone.
Yep. Like
literally all of them, and they weren't really making new stars at all. They were just kind of there.
Yep.
And that being said, Fabian Eichner, I do like Fabian Eichner. I really do. I don't know if he's Evolve champion material, but we'll see. I guess that's kind of just having the WWE showcasing that they're on top. But anyways, number 9 was Braun Strowman, the monster himself. So he's gonna have 2 conflicting monsters to go against. Interesting.
He is.
And then 10 was Veda Scott. The face, let's see, he says, the face that runs the place of the ladies division, criminally underrated and just as good as a heel as Alexa. I mean, I could disagree all day, but I think he just has a fetish for her hard. So I think we should have known.
Yeah, it's like Colin with Isla Dawn.
Isla Dawn, yeah. Yeah, we'll get to her. So his average age of all of his picks was 31.3 years old. So that'll be interesting for later. All right. So Colin, 1 through 10, he went Jay White number 1, future star and difference maker. I agree with this pick, actually.
I do too. Jay White's awesome.
His number 2 was Rhea Ripley, semifinals of the Mae Young Classic this year, future champion, plus she's just really good. I don't know about the really good part, but she is a star in the making, 1,000%.
Was that his current champion?
Well, upon recording, that title that she has doesn't kayfabe exist yet.
Okay, I just thought that I would ask.
Now, he actually DM'd me before the pick to make sure I was okay with it, and I go, I'm all about that kayfabe, and if the title doesn't technically exist yet, then that's not a champ.
Okie dokie. Apparently it was defended at Evolution in the dark match?
Yeah, which is, again, weird.
Yeah.
3, Velveteen Dream, oozes charisma and potential. Very good pick, again. Sure. So he's got New Japan, WWE, WWE, 4, Tommaso Ciampa. And he gives me the same reason with Aleister Black / Tommy End. They're both really good at their jobs. Gimmicks are fantastic. So the stock reason there. But yeah, Ciampa and Black, very good. So I think we got a big NXT fan.
I think so too.
Yeah. And then he goes way left field in his picks, which really surprised me. He went Isla Dawn. Okay. He goes, absolutely loved her performance in the Mae Young Classic too. I kind of ripped him a new one on Twitter.
I think we both did.
Yeah, because I just did not understand it at all. I was like, I don't even remember she was in the Mae Young Classic.
It's so out of left field. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. 7, he picked Hiroshi Tanahashi, so he went straight veteran here. I mean, the ace is a great pick for sure. He goes, needs a locker room leader for the young boys.
I was going to say, if I could have done 2 veterans, I was going to go with Tanahashi.
But you can only do 1. That's what made the picks interesting. Then he goes Joey Ryan. And his reason's really funny. How could you not pick the DDT Iron Heavyweight Champion and the King of Dong Style? Joey Ryan, you can't not pick a man who's been champion 44 times.
First of all, he stuffed up that title name. It's the Iron... What is it? It's the heavy metalweight. The DDT Iron Heavy Metalweight Championship or something like that. It's the heavy metalweight is the important part there.
Oh, okay. So he's got his comedy character. I guess every promotion needs one, for sure.
I really like Joey Ryan. Got his
a lot of people do. Yeah, I did meet the guy. He was he seemed either really tired or really high.
Well, could have been both. He's going to the championship tournament to crown the first Zella Pro champion coming up here in January at Phoenix, Arizona.
Ooh, about that. 9, he went Cassius Ohno. Fantastic big man in the ring and can fly like a cruiserweight. So he's got 2 WXW guys on his roster, Jay. I couldn't be more proud. 2 XW to XW originals.
Yeah, okay, I guess I'll count Cassius Ohno. Chris Hero as being a WXW guy.
Oh yeah, he's a former champion, man.
I know he is, but he didn't start there.
Well, he started in CZW, but he was part of WXW when it was like first a promotion.
Did you know that he was supposed to be Roman in the Shield?
Yeah. I think you've told me this too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I was just throwing it out there. The more you know, in case you people didn't realize.
Kind of wish he was. Wish he was.
Yeah, well, we can touch on that later.
Number 10, Bray Wyatt. When given the chance to actually shine, he always delivers.
Well, what have you done for me lately?
Hasn't been on since Matt Hardy hired, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, WWE doesn't know what to do with him, and that's been pretty much true since day one.
Well, I kind of hope he gets this repackage that they're talking about, and maybe some new theme music. I don't know.
We'll see.
He was in talks with like Avenged Sevenfold and Parkway Drive, my kind of music, to get him new stuff.
All you have to do is book a guy to win. That's all you have to do.
I agree, but like
he doesn't win.
With new music could do him a lot of good.
So his average age was 30.9, so very close to Travis's. 0.4 off. All right, my picks. This is super fun. All right. Number 1, I picked Walter. Shouldn't be any surprise if you know me from the podcast. A massive big man with great overall skill and can work both face and heel and work with anybody. Number 2, Tessa Blanchard, pure total package for the entire future of women's wrestling and wrestling in general, can go with the men. So I went with a big kind of intergender wrestling thing in mind, not a women's division.
Fair enough.
So I kind of wanted to pick women with a lot of wrestling skill and can kind of go with the more strong style so it could fit with the men better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 3, Jay Lethal. He was my champion. Obviously, current Ring of Honor champion. His technical skill is high level and a proven talent time and time again. So he kind of goes with also that veteran pick as well. For me, that's the way I looked at it. Since he's been wrestling so long.
How old's Jay Lethal?
He's only 33, surprisingly enough, but it feels like he's been wrestling forever.
Yeah, he was with freaking Impact like back in the heyday, which is crazy.
Yeah, he was going for the X Division title.
He was the Black Machismo.
He sure fucking was. So that's a comedy character possibly that as well. 4, I went Almas. Everyone needs a luchador in their mix, and he's good looking too, Jay. Can't forget that. You know he's only 28?
I do now.
Yeah. 5, Tony Storm. One of the best pure baby faces out there and trained in strong style. So that goes with my prior. 6, Killer Cross. I probably picked him too early, to be honest. But an intimidating force, overall scary dude. Excuse me. With a wrestling background. Never doubt the guidance of the White Rabbit, Jay. Excuse me. 6, Bobby Guns. Submission style catch wrestler. Gotta always have one of those to because you kind of gave me that idea when we were talking with in case someone gets injured, probably definitely use them to kind of kayfabe break arms, break arms or ankles or what have you. And I think if you're starting a promotion, you definitely need a submission wrestler there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I thought about Zack Sabre Jr. However, I think Bobby Guns is more palatable to a widespread audience rather than the interesting style that Zack Sabre Jr. Brings.
Well, he is Bobby Guns. Bobby Guns. Bobby Guns.
No, you got the wrong chant there.
My bad.
Yeah. 7. No, 8. Very surprised he went this long. I picked Marty Scurll, Mr. Character Work himself.
Yeah,
that was the one I was shocked went so far. And then 9, I went way out of my comfort zone with this one. And it's ACH. So he's got a cruiserweight. He's got character work. I've seen him work heel. I've seen him carry a title with confidence. So I like the guy. I really do. I think he's incredible. He's very underrated to me.
I was talking about your way out of left field pick. Wait till we get to mine.
That was my way out of left field pick was ACH.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you don't even know who mine is.
And then my last pick, I will say I was the only one who picked 3 women. My last pick was Chelsea Green, badass chick competing to be the best. That was my idea, and she's got a crazy Canadian destroyer, and she's got that hot mess gimmick going on. There's just a number of things we could do with her character. It was just fantastic stuff. My average age was 28.3. I was the youngest, by the way, by a long shot.
Who was the oldest? Was it me?
It was Jay.
Yeah, it's me.
Or, I'm sorry, Rad. It was Rad. You were next. Okay. You are next. So your first pick was Kenny Omega.
Well, dude, Uzu's charisma can work with anybody. Champion.
Damn right. Second pick was Okada.
Once again, Uzu's charisma, not a champion, but still fantastic in the ring.
Well, you got 2 of the best wrestlers, arguably, on the planet. 1, 2. 3, Minoru Suzuki. I sense a New Japan theme with your picks, Jay.
Well, dude, he's a veteran. He's badass. He's terrifying. He can beat those rookies into submission and break some limbs.
Damn right. 4, Tetsuya Naito. Mr. L.I.J.
Once again. Yep, fantastic charisma. Brilliant in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, you have 3 of the top 4 New Japan guys in your picks there. If you could have picked, like you said, 2 veterans, you would have picked Tanahashi probably.
I would have.
Yeah. 5, Millie McKenzie, the 18-year-old.
Well, dude, like, friggin', she's like really good in the ring. She's got character work pretty much down pat. She's got all the fundamentals down. She's gonna be a future champion in pretty much any promotion she goes to. I got a retweet for that too. Nice guy.
Yeah, you did right away. I was like, wow. I don't think you even tagged her, did you?
No, I did, but like, I'm genuinely surprised that I even got a response.
Wow. Yeah, I was as well.
Like I said, I win.
Yeah. 6 was Will Ospreay.
Once again, former champion, really young, brilliant hand in the ring, cruiserweight.
Flippy stuff.
Flippy stuff indeed.
7, Zack Sabre Jr. So 6 out of 7 is New Japan.
Yep. Same as Minoru Suzuki.
Yep. 8 was Jimmy Havoc. I really like this pick from you, honestly.
Well, dude, it's Jimmy Havoc, right? Like, he's underrated. Yeah, okay, he's a bit of a hardcore deathmatch kind of dude, but like, underrated hand in the ring. Like, oozes charisma. He's just a really good wrestler all around.
Well, between him and Ospreay, they basically started Progress Wrestling. They kind of put it on the map with their rivalry.
They did. Skull was there too.
Skrull was there at the start, and so was Haskins, but it was the work of Ospreay and Havoc that kind of made it more mainstream than what it was.
Indeed.
Then you got really weird with your last 2.
Okay, let me explain.
It didn't seem to fit your theme here.
The hipster heartthrob, dude. Casanova Valentine. I did this because I really want to see a match between him and Havoc as like a death match. I think it'd be quite entertaining. I have a guilty pleasure of watching friggin' Casanova Valentine like stab people in the face with spikes.
Pentagon and Sami Callihan style.
Yep.
Okay.
He's also a really nice dude. Like, I've had tons of conversations with him. Really nice guy.
Yeah, there's nothing on him on the internet other than his YouTube videos.
Yeah, and like I said, they're really entertaining. They're kind of graphic, but like, hey, if you want to watch some deathmatch stuff without a ring, it's worth checking out.
And then your last pick was Bailey.
Dude, there ain't no stopping us now. We celebrate on the floor. How can I go wrong with Bailey?
You got 2 incredible baby faces there for your women. I just don't know. This is where I was confused. I don't know where your 2 women are gonna fit with the rest of the guys, unless you just plan to keep the women division separate.
Well, I hadn't really decided that. I didn't know we had to go into full in depth as to why we chose our. Like, I knew we had to go into as to why we chose our people, but like, I didn't know I had to explain it on here's the why the wrestling company and all that kind of crap. I thought I was just picking people.
All right. So your average age, I couldn't find Casanova Valentine's age, so I just stocked him at 30.
I think he's a little bit older than that, but that doesn't matter.
But that still made you 31.8. So you were the
Nice.
second oldest. I
Nice.
think Minoru Suzuki had a lot to do with that. However, you did pick the youngest person at 18 as well, so I think they evened
Being
out.
said, dude, Suzuki's 50, and he could probably go another 50 years.
He'll never retire, is a fact.
Well, he needs to beat up them young lions. Teach him respect.
Alright, so just on to Rads right here, pretty quick. 1, AJ Styles, WWE Champion, 41. It's his current favorite overall. I think he's a proven just company runner. I mean, he's Mr. Impact, right? Everywhere he goes, he runs the place. 2, Randy Orton. He's loved him since his debut. Heel character.
Isn't Randy over 40?
He is 38. I was actually surprised with that.
Wow. Okay.
Again, it seems like he's been wrestling even longer than Jay Lethal.
Indeed.
But Randy Orton debuted at like 2021 or something in WWE.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so did Lesnar. He was really young too. That's why it feels like both those guys have been forever. 3, Alexa Bliss. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. And then I really liked the rest of his picks, for the most part. 4 was Eli Drake, Mr. Mike himself. I really like that one. Eli Drake is older than I thought. He's 35.
He looks like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, I know. And then EC3 was his next pick, also 35, older than I thought.
He's got back knee.
He does. 6, Finn Balor. 7, Adam Page. So there's his finally is one of his youth picks. That was his first guy he picked under 35.
Too sweet. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, so he's got a kind of a Bullet Club thing going on there. Kota Ibushi. Then he went, again, his last picks, like you, Jay, really just took me by surprise. Stu Bennett, a.k.a. Wade Barrett.
I need to say something here. Like, I didn't know that we could choose people who are retired.
I kind of gave him leeway with that one. Just like the Rhea Ripley pick. Because
not fair. I could have chosen CM Punk.
He's not. Well,
Neither's Barrett.
Well, CM Punk's over 40.
Yeah, well, I still could have chosen him as my vet. Dude, Colt's personality kicks ass.
Hmm.
Then again, so does Kazane Nare. I'm at a bit of a crossroads here.
Yeah, I think Kazane Nare is better. I think Suzuki went better with your overall 10, personally.
Yeah, so do I. I know what you're getting at with freaking Casanova Valentine, but I don't see the problem with Bailey.
Well, she works with Millie McKenzie, so
yeah.
I just didn't see you picking her.
Dude, Bailey's awesome.
And then his last pick was B. Priestley, which that goes with kind of Travis's Veda Scott pick, kind of the fetish, hot character kind of deal. B. Priestley's only 22. Do you know that?
She's really young too.
Yeah.
She's Ospreay's girlfriend, right?
Wife, actually. They got married, I believe. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They are totally together.
Cool.
All right, so that was good. Average age for Rad was 33.6. So that was a lot of fun to do. If you follow us all on Twitter, at BowlingJD, you can definitely find the hundreds of posts that we had as we were all picking this. It got off to a rough start with people breaking the rules.
Friggin' rad.
Travis as well. I believe Colin broke a couple. I think
he did. I was going to, because I forgot that Jeff Cobb was champion.
Yeah. So, but super fun. I quite enjoyed it. It was good seeing what everyone's kind of. You can kind of tell what's everyone's like favorite wrestlers are, what their style is, promotions they watch. Yeah. I tried to get everybody from a different country as well. That was my other thing.
Yeah, I noticed that with your theme.
I was going to pick a newcomer, Michael Flynn. He's from Denmark. He's the champion in Denmark. Because I really got into a promotion called Body Slam. They followed me, by the way, I will add. So they're a fan of the podcast. Apparently they listened to an episode or two, and they quite liked it.
That's totally terrifying.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey guys, if you're listening now, go check out Smack It Down.
Yeah, right? Go check them out. So I'm going to play this drop here, and we can get into our ECW stuff. So yeah, definitely. This will be fun. Okay. Wrestler Spotlight. This will be one of the shorter ones, because usually I like talking about the matches and being all nostalgic with it, but I didn't watch a lot of WCW growing up. In fact, I didn't watch any because I grew up in the South in the United States, where ECW was pretty much unknown.
I didn't get it here on TV, because I don't remember getting WCW.
The promotion in the South, that is for sure. But I knew I started to know about ECW at its tail end, way tail end, like 98, 99, when one of my best friends, or became my best friend, he moved from Philly, and he was telling me all about it and how his family used to go to those events, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
I have a question for this. How old was your friend at this time?
We were in junior high, so we were like 12.
Next question.
11,
what
12.
the hell was wrong with his parents?
Who cares? I went to wrestling events when I was 4 and watching guys bleed all over the place.
No. That's not the issue. The issue is freaking ECW as a 12-year-old.
Oh, he was younger than that.
You don't see a problem with it?
No.
Like, ECW, man, is not exactly what you would call kid-friendly.
So, it was wrestling.
Alright, whatever. I'll accept.
Well, okay. Alright, so this one's over a tag team called the Public Enemy, the team of Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. Known as the team that started ECW, and I have a little history here, because it's very fascinating, like what this tag team was. So we're gonna go down a learning path here, just like because I have vague memories of this team. I remember them.
Dude, I've already finished school. I don't want to learn things.
I remember them briefly in WCW, but they were never kind of a highlight of the tag division at all. And then I remember them getting the shit kicked out of them in WWF, which we'll get to that little story. And then I saw them. No, and that was it. So they're known for a few memorable moments, such as the fans' house party when the ring collapsed before they left for WCW. They had all the fans kind of join them in the ring as a last hurrah, and the ring just implodes. You can look it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny. Fans spilling over the apron and everything. And one of the most famous ECW moments was the night it rained chairs, when Cactus Jack and Terry Funk were in a singles match against each other. The Public Enemy hit the ring to kind of beat them down. Terry Funk calls for a chair from the fans, and then that's when the fans proceed to chuck all the chairs into the ring, and it just piles all over them. So that's where that kind of famous moment is from. It's always shown in ECW packages. Then they were known for their long-awaited return in ECW as they jumped the Dudley Boys, followed by a very heartfelt promo, how they wear ECW on their hearts and they never leave. But then it gets really notorious. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they're known for big moments and starting ECW. Now when they were so that was the early and mid-90s. The late 90s, this is where it starts getting bad for them. The first notorious moment came shortly after they reappeared in ECW. So this is right after the Dudley Boys beatdown. They returned. But the very next week, Grunge didn't sell the 3D. Not once, but twice. And the Dudleys, on the third no-sell, proceeded to just beat the shit out of them. And you can actually go look at a shoot interview where Bubba Ray talked about it and everything. How Grunge was getting on the mic and he just kept doing it. And then Public Enemy just didn't return to ECW after that. So much for wearing ECW on their hearts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always weird seeing people no-sell Austin Aries a few weeks back.
Yeah, but that's it's not confirmed yet, but apparently it was 100% a work.
Which is bullcrap because that's just dumb. We
What?
had that whole thing there with friggin' Russo and everything a few years back, and it was just bad.
I don't know.
Not Russo, sorry, but Bischoff.
I mean, Rad and I spoke about it on a previous cast where Impact kind of needs all the buzz possible right now, and their ratings definitely a tribute to that for sure.
I said what to do, just put it up on YouTube. Stop paying pop money.
Well, they're putting up highlights on YouTube now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
put the whole shop there. Save yourself some money.
The second one came shortly after their appearance in WWF. So this was right after the ECW thing, because that was when they left WCW. They got back to ECW. They left ECW immediately, and then they went to WWF, in which they appeared against the Acolytes, Bradshaw and Ron Simmons, or aka Farouk, on Sunday Night Heat. And I remember this one as a kid. I do remember this, because this is where apparently Johnny Grunge didn't want to go through a table as planned, so he wanted to change it up, right? So I guess he didn't want to get jobbed out kind of on their debut, in so many words. Well, Bradshaw and Simmons just proceeded to go ahead with the original plan, and they beat the fuck out of them on TV. So much so that things had to be edited out. And in this process, it chased him out of WWF.
I've heard about this.
There's a number of different sides on it. The Dudleys, in their shoot interview, actually, because of what they pulled in ECW, they had every right to believe, the WWF side. However, when I was doing research on the topic, it seems like Johnny Grunge was kind of known for just talking a bunch of shit, but he would never go through with his words. Because if you even look at the Sunday Night Heat match, they just took it. They didn't really fight back, and they just went through with the original plan anyways. So I think, but this is my personal theory, after getting jobbed out so much in WCW, they didn't want to do that again, right? Going to a new company. Particularly Johnny Grunge was definitely for this, and I did find a small interview in an archive. So, and then according to various people, whether it was staff and other wrestlers, upon their arrival in WWF, a lot of the writing staff and other wrestlers that didn't go to WCW had issue with Public Enemy because they chose WCW over them during the mid-90s when WWF was going for a lot of tag teams. And then they also had an issue with a guy named Terry Taylor, the guy who brought them in to WWF. And a lot of people had an issue with this guy within the company. Specifically, the Acolytes had a problem with Terry Taylor. Big time. So
starting to see a connection here.
Yeah, it all kind of comes together, when you start putting all this. So according to those close to the Public Enemy, they didn't want to get squashed and look weak going into a feud and to reestablish themselves in a new company. So that went with my original theory. So maybe it's a part of being stubborn after their WCW run, as one could imagine, for sure. And then a lot of that internal issue of, the Monday Night Wars and everything happening kind of coincides, and a lot of staff just not liking the guy that brought them in, didn't like them choosing WCW. So, I can't really, just based on what I've found, I think WWF just chased them the fuck out. And as for the ECW thing, I don't think there's an excuse for that, really. I think that was just them being douchebags upon thinking that because they were ECW originals, they're going to be top shit upon arrival. There's that kind of unsung rule that you kind of return the favor thing, because the Dudley Boys were the big things in ECW while, after Public Enemy left, and then they come back and they were just going to take their spot. Not gonna fly. Because you see that in companies even to this day, when you have, take Pac returning to Dragon Gate, right? Neville. Some people know. He's not just going to no-sell moves just because he's back. And that's where he got to start, right? And he's a WWE guy. Or Cody going to Ring of Honor because he's WWE, so.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. So we did 2 matches like we do. One match was a tag team title match. The Funks, the team of Dory and Terry Funk, against the Public Enemy in a barbed wire match at ECW Heatwave in 1994.
I don't like barbed wire matches, especially after I saw that one with friggin' Terry Funk and Sabu.
Well, that's the one where freaking flesh was ripped off. This one was a lot more tame. From a lot of the barbed wire matches I've seen. This seems like right up your alley with death matches, but barbed wire matches do get you, to cringe a lot of the times, because it's freaking barbed wire.
Yeah, no, I get you. And as for death matches, dude, I've got to be in the mood for them, not all the time, because sometimes it's violence for the sake of violence.
Right. Well, that was definitely ECW in the early 90s.
It sure was. I've got a pay-per-view there. It's called WrestlePalooza 1997.
Oh, sure, yeah. I think
it's crazy.
I think I know. Was that Dreamer Raven before Raven left for WCW?
I think so. The main event is the Dudleys defending against somebody. Earlier on in the night, they also defended against Sandman and Balls Mahoney.
Paul Mahoney. Oh boy.
And like, dude, on my DVD of this, like, they've got the friggin' Motorhead version of Enter Sandman. Dude, friggin'
Oh.
Sandman using Motorhead before trips.
So, this particular match took place a month before the incident the night it rained chairs. And that comes into play during this match. So,
I can imagine.
Yeah. A Madness like grudge match where Dory and Terry Funk were they basically just beat the shit out of the Public Enemy. And bear in mind, Terry and Dory Funk were pretty old in the 90s. It's like you're
now. Like, I'm gonna guess ancient because friggin' Dory was at the bloody NWA 70th anniversary thing.
Yeah, exactly. Dory looked super old then in 94. Okay, so most of the match had a couple points of interest where Public Enemy took control, where they did pick up the win. But the best parts was Terry called for a chair from the fans, and a lot of fans started chucking chairs into the ring. Just like what we saw a month later. And you even hear the announcer go, stop throwing chairs into the ring or we'll have to cancel the match. And that's when the fans stopped doing that. But again, a month later, no matter what he said, they were throwing chairs into the ring.
So, dude, friggin' Terry Funk is 74, and he had a wrestling match last year when he was 73.
Dude, the guy's crazy.
And Dory is 77.
So they were in their 50s.
Yeah.
Or late 40s, early 50s during this match.
Yeah, like that.
Crazy. At one point, Terry Funk wrapped himself in barbed wire with a trash can kind of wrapped to his chest with the barbed wire, and he used it as a battering ram.
Dude, he was 40, 50 something. That's crazy.
Yeah. The match, it was funny. The match ended with Johnny Grunge like beating the crap out of him with a chair, hitting the trash can with the barbed wire, and then he just falls to the ground and gets pinned. I was like, okay.
Dude, I got another one for you. 8 years ago, when he was 66, he had a match at Ring of Honor's Glory by Honor 9. He worked as a ringside enforcer for the ROH Championship match between Tyler Black and Roderick Strong.
Ooh, I have to look that up on the archives.
Indeed.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed about this is the crowd is just so super into this. Like, I think if you were, because of the way I guess these guys were built up, and with the name value of the veterans, it didn't matter what they did in the ring. It had that NWA style to it, but with an extreme touch, so to say.
Well, ACW broke away from the NWA, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So this was interesting to see. And then the second match was the Public Enemy versus Sabu and the Tasmaniac, aka Taz.
Freaking Sabu. I got a friend that's obsessed with Sabu, dude.
Oh, Sabu is like he and the Public Enemy are like the two guys that put ECW on the map at the start. Like they are ECW essentially. I mean, you know, later you can say, or even right away later, would be like the Tommy Dreamer, Raven, etc.
RVD to an extent.
RVD to an extent, sure. So this was a double tables match for the tag titles, and this was February 4th, 1995. So again, hot crowd, and the stipulation of a doubles tables match is both men have to go through the table before a winner can be named. And I got real confused watching this. So Sabu does a bunch of funky chair spots. I swear like 10 tables were used in this match, Jay. The first couple attempts, the tables didn't break, so must have been Japanese or European.
Or progress.
And it just, the whole match was just them getting essentially chucked through tables and Sabu doing his weird chair spots that he likes to do. And
He does.
there was a lot of instances where Paulie Dangerously, Paul Heyman, and other guys were just kind of diverting the ref's attention. So when someone went through the table, the ref didn't see it, so it didn't count. So that allowed them to just get put through more tables, and the crowd was going crazy. I was like, wait, they both went through. Oh, the ref didn't see it. Okay, they went through again. The ref didn't see it again. And then there was some interference later, like Benoit got involved post-match and everything, so... Sabu and Tasmaniac won, but it was just chaos. And that's what I'm seeing here from ECW, is just pure chaos. So if you're into hardcore stuff for the sake of hardcore, definitely this early ECW stuff was interesting. And the Public Enemy being kind of essentially these, you know, when you talk about ECW now, you don't think of the Public Enemy. You do think of like RVD, Sabu,
Sandman,
Tommy Dreamer, maybe Sandman. You don't think of Public Enemy.
You do think of Funk though.
But it seems like throughout ECW's early years, Public Enemy were the guys. And they were always in the big matches, always in the main event.
Interesting.
Yeah. I personally wasn't a fan of either of these matches because of how chaotic and nonsensical they were, but I do see the appeal. Fair enough?
Yeah, well, that's because ECW in general, chaotic.
Well, I've seen a lot of the later stuff, like I said, and it got a lot better, I would say.
It's still crazy, though.
Yeah. Well, alright. That does it for them. I'm gonna play another drop, and we can
get a drink and be back in a moment.
And we can get into our Tier 3 indie stuff.
I'm gonna grab a drink.
Going to play... Man, I just can't decide what... You know what?
How's that in RA?
I'm gonna play... Alter Natural. Okay. So not a lot of indie stuff went down recently. Other than, you know, your typical Impact TV tapings after Bound for Glory, but as I watch it, I watch it on GWN, kind of a week delay. But we're gonna start with a little up and coming women's promotion called Rise, and they have a weekly show. Yes, Jay?
Think nothing at all.
Okay. And Tessa Blanchard going into this is the current Rise champion. Okay.
The Phoenix champion or something, right?
Yeah, it's got some name like that. And she was set to face Mercedes Martinez in a 75-minute Iron Woman match. And upon completion of this match, this was going to go down as the longest ever singles women's match in wrestling.
Until next week when Stardom doing like 2-hour match.
No, Stardom kind of tops out around the 30 mark generally. They had
being sarcastic.
So, Jay, this match is the best women's match I've seen in 2018, and possibly the last 3 years.
Okay.
It was that damn good. The booking of this match was incredible. So, the first fall in this Iron Woman match didn't come until 26 minutes in. So, you could kind of tell from both characters that they were getting kind of frustrated, not being able to put the other away so soon. Because you'd think the first fall would come pretty quickly, but they had to space a lot of this out, I guess. And what happened was Mercedes Martinez zip-tied Blanchard to the outside and got a count-out fall.
It's kind of a low move.
But, well, Mercedes Martinez was going into this as the heel.
That's weird.
Well, she's got a badass persona to her. You know, it works. She's usually a heel where she goes. And what ended up happening was the ref caught it and reversed the decision. So the first fall to Tessa Blanchard. So I really like that. You immediately establish, or not immediately establish, but you do establish furthermore that Mercedes Martinez is going to do whatever it takes to win and get Blanchard onto kind of the babyface side of things, even more so. The second fall came pretty quickly, where Blanchard hits her hammerlock DDT, so she goes up to nothing. Then a little time passes. Third fall goes to Martinez after hitting Tessa Blanchard with a draping DDT off a railing to go 2-1. And so she gets a count out, and then Tessa sells the piss out of it. She barely beats the count back at the ring, and then Mercedes just hits her finisher again, so it's tied 2-2. So the booking of this really does make sense in a lot of ways. You following me so far, Jay? Jay? Following me?
Sorry, had a mouthful of water.
Okay.
I'm here.
So, upon the falls getting tied 2-2, Blanchard does a reversal and immediately hits her kind of code red, and goes up 3-2. So that then establishes that you can get a fall out of nowhere. So I was like, wow, you just couldn't really see these falls coming. And that really, for a long match, you have to do that. Otherwise,
because if you see something coming, you'll get bored.
Right. So it's 3-2. There's 10 minutes left in the match. So we're at that kind of just over the hour mark, right? And it's 3-2, Tessa Blanchard. And then this is where the match goes way into high gear. Like, you're already an hour into this match, right? I've had my coffee. I got like I'm just snacking on chips, and I'm just going, what the hell is going to happen? I was figuring it was just going to like stay this way till the end. Well, Mercedes Martinez gets a chair and proceeds to just batter Tessa Blanchard's leg. So, Blanchard goes up 4-2 because of the DQ, but then she's not able to get back to her feet and start the match again, so she gets counted. So now Martinez gets 4-3, and then she quickly gets another fall, another 2 falls. She gets a pin and a submission, just bang bang. So she gets 3 straight falls in basically quick succession in the next 5 minutes because of this kind of going for broke here with the chair. So with 5 minutes left, this is where Blanchard like gets this crazy comeback, and the crowd is just going insane, right? Because they just witnessed 3 falls, Mercedes cheating, they're booing the shit out of her. Blanchard is just gone like Super Cena babyface mode, And she hits her Magnum Codebreaker, the top rope Codebreaker that she does. On Martinez, and Martinez not only rolls out of the ring, she also goes under the ring. So yeah, exactly. And you could hear that in the audience. People going, "You bitch, get out of the ring!" Oh, they were booing the hell out of her, really into it. And I go, "Wow, that's really that's tactics that you don't see in wrestling too often." It was so good.
Well, it kind of works in an Iron Man match.
Yeah, and then Tessa does eventually get her in the ring. She hits the DDT, but she couldn't beat the clock and loses the match. Like, what an epic story. It was so epic. It's one of my favorite matches of 2018.
I think my favorite match of this year so far is either the Gauntlet from Dubs earlier this year, or the friggin' Okada and Omega match from Dominion.
I don't know. Okada Suzuki match in the rain is definitely up there for me. But yeah, this Tessa Blanchard Mercedes,
pretty great too.
This Tessa Blanchard Mercedes Martinez match is one of the best matches of the year. I mean, if anyone's talking about Evolution and everything, this is or fans of Stardom or anything, this is just a wrestling match that needs to be sought out. You can go to riseascent.com, and it's $5 to sign up for their service and $5 for essentially a movie, because it was 75 minutes.
Or you can pay $10 and just buy the pay-per-view.
Or just buy it outright, yeah. Well, no, $5 you get the service and you can watch the whole event in their backlog.
Yeah, there's also the other option. which is what I was looking at doing, but now I know there's a subscription service.
Yeah. So just crazy stuff. I had watched their 30-minute Iron Woman match from the summer, and that was really good. So they definitely one up themselves heavily in this match. Just crazy. All right, so moving on, we got RevPro. RevPro versus New Japan Global Wars 2018, Global Wars UK, and not much happened on this pay-per-view, fortunately. Wouldn't you say so, Jay?
No, like just the main event is pretty much it. Like Zack Sabre Jr. Goto had a good match. Like Ring Kampf had a match with LIJ, but nothing really happened.
Yeah, I mean it was a good technical match with Zack and Goto. Zack took a hell of a shit. What's Goto's finisher?
GTR.
The GTR off like a drape. He was draped over the top rope. Took a massive. I was like, whoa, that's Concussion City, possibly.
Yeah.
But Zack Sabre Jr. won that match with double finger Okada roll, which is like one of the best match finishers.
It is.
Nowadays.
Like just the out of nowhere surprise roll up, which is essentially what it is.
Oh, it's so good. I was really excited going into the Ring Kampf LIJ match, but this seems to be like LIJ won, which I was kind of surprised about. I thought Ring Kampf was gonna go over there personally. But I think they're getting Walter and Thatcher maybe as well, because he's very technical, to just get more familiar with the New Japan guys. So they can be in that promotion more often and get built up. That's my theory behind it. That's what it seemed to be in this match anyways, with Walter and Evil specifically.
Yeah. Who are the current Rev Pro Tag Champs?
Saber and Minoru, I believe.
Yeah, you just reminded me of that because that's yep. So I think that friggin' LIJ will be going after those too soon.
I think so as well. I'd rather see Ring Kampf go after them. I really want Walter against Minoru Suzuki.
I want it for the title, but that may still happen.
Even in a tag match, like, because then they'll have to go against each other one-on-one eventually in the match.
That is true, but like as I said, I still just want to say it for the British heavyweight title.
That would have been cool, but I guess I think they missed the boat on that one. Well, let's get into that then. Ishii against Minoru Suzuki. And
the weirdest thing about this match is like the fact that friggin' Suzuki dropped the title back to Ishii in his first defense.
Yeah. Again, just not expecting that at all.
It's crazy. Like,
very strange.
Didn't see it coming.
I didn't either.
For me, which kind of sucks. And like they still always put on good matches, but like it's really weird booking.
It is, and they're set to face each other again at New Japan Power Struggle for the Rev Pro title.
Yeah, Ishii is probably going to defend.
I imagine Ishii is going to win that match. So it went to 24 minutes. Nice hard hitting, as you can imagine. Lots of just facial expressions, just good stuff from Minoru Suzuki. And Ishii just making every hit look like it's harder than the last. You know, he's just taking it. So, I mean, it's an Ishii-Minoru Suzuki match. They've had tons of matches in the past. To me, this was not really any different, but they always seem to get you caught up in the moment for who they are. They're that good at what they do, and the chemistry they have together is amazing.
Indeed.
So who's next up to challenge Ishii? Assuming that Ishii,
probably Zack.
I imagine it would be Zack, especially with his win over Goto.
Yeah, that match felt like a number one contenders match, and that's what the commentators are putting over.
Yeah. Oh, that's assuming Ishii wins, and you would imagine that Zack would be the right choice, especially since Ishii was the one who took the title from Zack earlier this year. So, fair enough. I mean, it's fair play. I wouldn't mind seeing that match again. Enough time has passed to see it again, basically.
Didn't we see they in the same block of the G1?
They were, yes. But in terms of Zack did, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of like Rev Pro, they haven't had a match in quite some time. It's April.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. So let's quickly go over Lucha Underground, getting into Ultimate Lucha Quattro, which is coming up upon recording tomorrow and the following week. So the end of season 4 is here, and I think Lucha Underground, this is their last season. That's what it looks like to me. Because their ratings are just in the toilet.
Yeah, that make it very hard to watch though. So
yeah, it's on. Well, yeah, for an international audience for sure. I just simply bought it on Amazon Prime personally.
I can't do that.
So the last 3, I think we're 3 weeks behind on the podcast, but the last 3, a lot of intergender strong booking here. Marty the Moth defeated Mariposa, aka Cheerleader Melissa, in a good singles match. And then the following week, Reclusa, aka Chelsea Green, loses to number 1 contender Pentagon. So crazy, just women being booked really strong in Lucha Underground. Just cool stuff. And there was some continuing stories there to build up for the matches, but the biggest story was definitely Jake Strong essentially taking over Lucha Underground as he defeated basically everybody in a 7-way elimination match, and he's the new Gift of the Gods champion.
Jack Swagger.
He's kayfabe breaking. Like he kayfabe broke like 5 out of the 6 people in that match's ankles.
He sure did. We also got to see, was it Aerostar do a flying massive crossbody off a forklift? He
did. That was great to see.
Freaking Drago comes out with like a construction helmet on with holes in it for his horns.
Yeah, it's good.
Like the high vis vest and everything. It was pretty great.
I loved it. And then they just essentially established, like, there was a fatal 4-way where Pentagon won to establish him as the number 1 contender, and then they just molded everything together for basically the following matches at Ultima Lucha Quattro, which is Taya versus Crazy Ricky Mundo with his like possessed doll, or the doll that's possessing him, because he finally said he was the one that unleashed the monster at the wedding. So they're having a match. So good, we get a cool intergender match tomorrow.
Do you see that doll becoming a real girl?
I wouldn't put it past Lucha Underground.
Who would you get to play the doll?
Well, I sure as shit would not bring back Sexy Star.
Yeah, let's
they
away.
Basically killed her off and just saying that Reclusa stalked her and just put her out of her misery. I was like, whoa, okay. Well, that takes care of that.
Yeah, it's Chelsea Green is just going to be like a one and done sort of thing. It's like, all right, bye.
Which is fair. She fit her brief role, I think, well enough.
She did.
Yeah. There's going to be
the spider to the moth.
There's going to be a 3-way trios title elimination match featuring the Rabbit Tribe is finally here. With Killer Cross, aka the White Rabbit.
So who else is in that? Friggin' Paul London and who?
El Bunny. El Bunny's in it. He's part of that team. You have Sammy Guevara joining Evilise and Exolicious, which is a very odd team. And then the champions, the snake tribe. Reptile tribe. So
do they have Luchasaurus?
No. I kind of wished that if there was one thing I wish this season had more of, it would definitely had been more of the Rabbit Tribe with Killer Cross. There was definitely not enough Killer Cross in this, because he has his own unique persona, and the whole TikTok "I'm coming for you" thing, and it just wasn't used much in this season at all. I was very disappointed in that.
Maybe they'll try to build him up for season 5. Can we just back it up for a sec? Is Sammy Callahan Snake Tribe?
Yes.
Isn't he?
Yes.
Is he one of the trans champs?
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay. The Mac will face Mil Muertes in a death match. So the Mac is going out for revenge against Mil. Johnny Mundo was given the the Infinity Gauntlet. I forget the name of it, from Aerostar, to go up against.
So he could take on friggin' Matanza.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. He's Aerostar and uh, uh, what's his face? The dragon guy.
Drago?
Drago. God damn it.
That's Taki Jr.
No, Drago. I forget his name a lot. I don't know why. I think it's because there's a lot of like El Dragon and Dragon Azteca. But Drago, yeah, they were talking, and you see Johnny Mundo in the back going, "This thing that Cage always had, come on, no, take it." And then he's like, "Whoa, I have the power," and his abs has lightning going through him, and he's just kind of in the background going, "Oh, this is cool."
How did they get it off freaking Cage in the first place? Like, I get it's from the future and stuff, but like, how did it happen?
I don't remember, man.
I don't think we've seen it.
I don't think so either. I think it was just
Maybe
taken.
we'll see it. Like, would it be funny if, like, in future episodes of like season 5 or 6, we see like friggin' Arrow starting that take it, and then it just disappears?
Yeah, maybe. So, and then there's Dragon Azteca against Dark Phoenix. So that should be a good high flying match.
Yeah, it should be.
And then the possibly, because I really do think this is the last Lucha Underground season. Marty the Moth versus Pentagon in a Cierro Miedo match. Oh boy. The Zero Fear match. That's the one that fucked up Vampiro really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, okay. I'm definitely excited for the season finale. Going into it, it should be a lot of fun. No doubt.
It should be.
You excited for the season finale?
I can't watch it. I keep up with it, but I can't watch it.
Well, steal that shit then.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, if it's not available in your country, how else are you supposed to watch it?
It is on YouTube and Daily Motion.
Well, there you go. That's how you watch it then. All right.
I'm not saying I do or don't. I'm just saying I can't legally watch it.
Okay. All right, I'm going to play Kaze Ninare just for you, Jay.
Excellent. Yay.
And that will lead us into New Japan. Hooray! New Japan. Not much to talk about as we're heading into Power Struggle. We got a couple days left on the road to Power Struggle to determine the junior tag, the two finalists for the tag league. So I just have some notes over. It hasn't been must watch New Japan wrestling, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't watched any of it.
See, I've kind of had it on like as background noise, to be honest.
I've been really busy with work.
Yeah, I mean things are getting in the way. I got my own stuff to do myself. But I have caught like the important stuff and any kind of tag matches that get my eye. Like I've watched every main event. Those have been really good. But so I have some notes over just the teams in general. There's not much. There's only one real story that's that you can kind of see. I'm in a New Japan kind of talk group with a number of different New Japan podcasts, and we kind of bounce ideas off each other a lot of times. It's kind of fun. It's just a Twitter like DM group. But
right.
You know, going into this, I thought I would have liked the Time Splitters the most, and I do like them. That's Chris Sabin and Kushida. But actually, I have loved the team of ACH and Taguchi. Super 69, that's their team name. They come out with their rugby uniforms and everything, promoting the Rugby World Cup that's going to happen in Japan.
Brilliant. Hey, dude, I got some breaking news here.
Okay.
We're getting a Goto versus Taichi Power Struggle.
I thought Taichi, well, that was one of the things we were going to get into because Taichi turned him down.
Yeah, well, it's on the New Japan Power Struggle page.
Oh, well, I guess management said, no, you're fighting. Oh, okay.
Taichi's the greatest wrestler.
Like, Goto even said, all right, you won't accept my challenge, but when Ospreay comes back, he'll take that. He's taking that title from you, because Ospreay is currently injured.
Maybe this is just to defend the title? Like I said, Taichi's the greatest wrestler ever, so...
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that from the Rev Pro, but that's where Ospreay got injured. He just did like a backflip and his ribs.
Well, hopefully he's cleared by Wrestle Kingdom.
It was it was an odd injury. You know, it's always the simple things that injure you the most, it seems, in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he necked himself real bad earlier this year, and he was only out like a
That
week.
was off the Spanish fly off the apron.
Yeah.
I think it was freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
They teased that with the rematch or something from where were they, in California? It's like, no, don't do that again. So instead they just like do a sunset flip powerbomb, and that looked even more dangerous.
Well, yeah, he just did a backflip and just landed kind of sideways. I mean, it didn't look really bad or anything, but then he just immediately held his ribs, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's one.
Right.
All right, so ACH and Taguchi have just been hilarious, and they're actually also booked pretty strong to win as well. So ACH has developed this kind of bullet crossbody. He actually put out a tweet of some of his favorite things that fans are calling it. My favorite was they call it the dolphin dive.
The dolphin dive. That's pretty great.
Yeah. He does a slingshot crossbody to the outside, but he completely like straightens out his legs, puts it together, and then puts his hands behind his back. So he just looks like this torpedo kind of going over. Just slaps into the guy. It's really funny to look at.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And naturally Taguchi just doing the funky weapon and everything. But they just go off each other so well. So Soberano and Volador, they're showing off a lot of that kind of lucha stuff and what the CMLL guys can do when they actually have like a competent in-ring story to tell. Because let's face it, Mexico, really good wrestlers, but bad in-ring storytelling. It's just go out and do your flippy shit at the end of the day.
Saying the friggin' AAA doesn't do good storytelling.
AAA does not do good storytelling.
Triple Mania, dude, was like the best show of the year. What do you want about?
Some things make sense story-wise with Lucha Libre, Triple A, but most of the time it's really bad stuff.
Dude, I can't wait to watch Triple Mania next year when we get La Parca versus Dr. Wagner Jr.
I don't think that's happening. La Parca was very much not into that. So then Roppongi 3K has 8 points. The Time Splitters have 6, along with all the other teams except Soberano and Volador. Time Splitters will look super strong with Roppongi 3K. The interesting story that kind of is a stretch is Shingo is he's essentially cost a couple matches with Bushi taking the pin, so that's possible tension with LIJ going forward. But every time Shingo gets in the ring, he just proceeds to beat the shit out of anybody with forearms and hard-ass clotheslines. It looks really brutal because he is not a junior.
I was gonna say he looks like he's eating a junior heavyweight, so he's like double the size of everyone he's going up against.
Oh yeah. Like I think it's Sho who's the most jacked looking junior, and Shingo just looks like he's twice as big as him still.
Now, with this being said, would you have put him in the juniors or would you have put him in the heavyweights? It's really hard to say because you really can go either way.
Shingo is a really good wrestler. He can, you know what? It is his initial New Japan run. Maybe the junior was a good start. They'd be able to build him up, and get him matches with Marty and possibly Ospreay down the line. Kushida would be really good for sure.
Put him up against Takahashi. I know that's like LIJ versus LIJ, but it still could be fun.
It could be fun. But the guys, the champs, Desperado and Kanemaru, they're in the lead with 10 points. They ain't
winning this tournament.
Well, they're tied with Shingo. They're tied with Shingo and Bushi.
I'm telling you right now, dude, that friggin' Roppongi 3K is going over.
We've talked about this for sure, that R3K looks like they're gonna win the tournament. Yeah. I personally want to see Shingo and Bushi win personally. That's what I want.
Actually, I'm going to look up what the last match of the tournament is. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the deciding factor. But the main...
Alrighty.
Okay, what do you got?
Give me a second, it's loading. The last match of the tournament is... Chris Sabin and Kushida versus Sho and Yo.
What's the one before that?
The one before this would be Robbie Eagles and Ishimori versus AHC and not Taguchi, so that's not a match. Must be the night before. Give me a second, loading up another page. It would be Eagles and Ishimori versus Sabarino and Volador.
Yeah, maybe Soberano and Volador will actually get more than that'll keep. I expect that'll keep Ishimori and Eagles out of the finals.
Yeah, like I said from the start, it's either going to be LIJ versus R3K or it's going to be Bullet Club versus R3K.
Yeah, I don't see Ishimori Eagles winning. But the big story coming out of this, Jay, is out of the Road to Power struggle is the mega powers of Japan shook hands.
They have. Also, another big story is that friggin' Bullet Club Elite is no longer a thing. There's a new leader in BCOG, now the Cutthroat era, dude, Switchblade.
Well, that happened prior. I'm talking like for this particular Road to Power struggle, Tanahashi and Okada have temporarily joined forces to take on Bullet Club.
Was Beretta sitting there screaming, "We don't need him"? Or was it Chucky T?
It was one of them. It was one of them, but they shook hands anyways, and it was immediately reminiscent of Hogan Savage when they shook hands and joined powers. It
was.
Excuse me?
I said it was.
Yeah, it was. So, New Japan has done an excellent job building up Bullet Club again, with the full intention, just in case any of the Elite, because that's what's essentially happening here, is all the people from the Elite, their contracts are going up. They're now officially, like, as far as I'm concerned, they're not Bullet Club anymore. They are just the Elite. They're their own faction now, called the Elite. They are not Bullet Club.
Uh-huh.
So you have all the New Japan guys as Bullet Club, and they have all of the titles. They have the tag, their trio's title. Jay White is the Rising Star, and they've just put a beatdown on Okada so bad with the betrayal of Gedo that Tanahashi finally, I guess, had enough, and he's like, "Let's join," and Okada accepted. So. Yeah, good on New Japan for their long-term storytelling. We kind of saw it coming, and this is just that payoff that New Japan just has.
Mm-hmm. Subject of long-term storytelling here. Who do you see taking the IC title off of Jericho? Like, is it gonna happen at Wrestle Kingdom or Dominion?
Well, we did discuss that on the previous cast, so
I wasn't here for that, so I'm curious.
So definitely go back and listen to episode 15.
Damn it. Did you just discuss the whole Jay White thing last time?
Yes.
Damn it.
Yep, everything was in episode 15, so definitely go back and listen to that one. Alrighty.
Okey-dokey.
Are you a fan of the Mega Powers of Japan?
I'm a fan of the Mega Powers of Japan. They are both fantastic in ring workers, and they are both over as hell.
Okay. Nice and simple for New Japan as we head into Power Struggle stuff. Well, let's get into WWE Evolution, Jay. We got some stuff to talk about there. They drop. Which one am I gonna play? I'll
Play Line in the Sand. Evolution is Mystery.
I don't have that.
Damn it! You should do it just for this.
Alrighty, Evolution. WWE's historic first ever historical, all women's historical pay-per-view, history making of history.
Dude, so much history.
My God, I had to turn commentary way down, basically on mute. I had to.
You were saying that yesterday.
Right. So if you want to hear more initial thoughts in ranting and raving, definitely go listen to the SmackDown podcast. Jay had me on as a guest.
I did.
And there's a reason why. I've been asked this on Twitter, over 10 times by fans in recent weeks on why this podcast doesn't do reaction podcast episodes. So like you put out the episode right at the end of the pay-per-view or the next day, right? It's because, and I've said this before, I like collecting my thoughts. I like seeing fallout, to make sure that the booking makes sense to everything, and to cool off for things that kind of make you angry as a wrestling fan, and to kind of look at it from different perspectives.
Now, I'm going to butt in here and say, we don't get to do that because our recording day is pay-per-view day. So,
you can record any day you want, Jay. You can do whatever you want.
You say that, but we've only got like really 2 days that we can record, and once a fortnight I work one of those 2 days. So Sunday, your time is like the only real time that we get a chance.
Right. So I do want to mention, first of all, I have a top 5 matches from this year's Mae Young Classic, not including the finals, because that was at Evolution. So just right quick. 5, Satomura versus Kelly from round 1, Killer Kelly. 4, Mia Yim versus Toni Storm. 3, Satomura versus Mercedes Martinez. 2, Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley. Considering Rhea Ripley was told 20 minutes that she was going out for that match prior, that ended up being really good. Shirai is that good of a wrestler. And number 1, Satomura versus Toni Storm. I didn't like the ending because there was no reversal or counter or anything. Toni Storm just hits her finisher and it was over. But everything up to that point was pretty much gold.
So when you say the Ripley fan had 20 minutes beforehand, is that because the brain is not working?
Nixon Newell blew out her knee.
Yeah, she was supposed to, so Nixon was supposed to go overwatch you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Nixon Newell supposedly was supposed to win the whole tournament.
Wow. I thought from the start it was definitely going to be AO or Tony.
That's what.
So
yeah.
AO wasn't supposed to be in the finals, was she?
No.
That's interesting.
She wasn't. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Toni Storm against Nixon Newell, aka Tegan Knox. That's what her new name is. And when you think about it, that really makes sense because of the new NXT UK. Have 2 NXT UK people in the finals.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah, they're really high on her. Makes sense. So I found everything else in the tournament either okay at best, or quite underwhelming, or yep, it's a rookie. Because there was a lot of 4 to 5 minute matches.
I was gonna say Blanchard should have been here, but like I get why she wasn't.
No. So, but there was a lot more. I found this tournament in particular to have more, better talent overall, I would say, compared to the first one. But I think I like the matches, outside. If it wasn't for Meiko Satomura in this particular Mae Young Classic, I don't think this would have been as good as the first one, personally.
Yo, the first one was really good.
It was really good. I think the talent in this one was better. I just think the matchups weren't better.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I really like the finals from the first one as well.
Yeah, I mean, Shayna Baszler's still very green. That was my main issue.
Former heavy metalweight champion.
All right, so on to Evolution.
It's a mystery.
Card up here. Made.
Well, the opening match, dude, was freaking Lita, who cannot run, and Trish Stratus versus, supposed to be Alexa Bliss, but apparently she got post-concussion syndrome or a concussion.
You got a concussion,
so
yeah.
It was Alicia Fox and Mickie James, and the highlights of this match was definitely Mickie and Trish.
Yep. And I do have the match times on all this because I found that the most interesting off the card as well, because I was curious what they'd give more time over another. And it was very obvious. Trish and Mickie, they need to have, like, we saw Trish and Lita on Raw again in a makeshift 10-woman tag. Waste of time.
And Trish can still not run. Or bend.
Lita.
Sorry, yeah, Lita. Like, did you notice? I don't know if you saw it, but like when they were doing the Bailey entrance thing, like Lita can't bend over.
No, Lita's body just is broken at this point. And it's her knees, man. It's her knees. Her knees are done. Because if you look at the, like, when Trish bent over in this match to do the poetry in motion, kind of the Matt Hardy position, and then Lita does the Jeff Hardy stuff, where she's supposed
like
to
run up and like splat.
she doesn't jump at all. She has no jumping ability, zero.
She
And
can't run either, dude. It's all power walking.
It's really sad to see, to be honest. She did not look good in this match.
No,
Luckily, they were able to kind of work around it, where she was out of the match most of the time. She's basically a moonsault, and that's it. That's all she's got in her. And even that, like, scares me a lot of the times.
It's because she doesn't get any height off it, and looks like she's gonna break her neck.
Yeah. Well, it's because her knees are done. I saw the highlight from that 10-woman tag, and when I saw that poetry in motion again, where she just steps on Trish's back and then just steps off and does a clothesline. That's as much as she can do. So, in terms of the match quality, I think the match was fine, I guess. It was mostly just Mickie and Trish. Mickie James was the MVP in this match. She made Trish look like $1,000, because Trish, her body's kept up over the years. Her style wasn't as ruthless as Lita's, to be fair. And, Trish had her, like, month or so of training to get back into kind of the ring shape and run the ropes kind of deal, but Mickie was definitely the one that just ran everything.
Yeah, she was the connection between both past and present.
Yeah. And then Alicia Fox was a total mess. Like, there was one spot in particular where she didn't break up the pin in time. She does that a lot, doesn't she?
Alicia Fox was Alicia Fox. Let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So the match went 10:46. It was an opener. Got the big pop. People were really behind. Then the next match was the Mae Young Classic Final. Io Shirai against Toni Storm.
Was it? I thought we had a
battle royal. No. It was the Battle Royal.
Nia Jax wins. That's all you really need to know.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it. I mean, to me, it was just another Battle Royal. The eliminations are what bothered me the most. And no one really got any spots in.
What about that, like, 9-woman suplex?
That was a spot.
It sure was.
I mean, it was fine. But a lot of the eliminations were just tossed out of the ring, or if they were on the apron, they took a forearm to the face and they'd fall out. It seemed like it was just minimal effort. The match went 16 minutes, which I think was too long.
30 minutes with entrances.
Yeah, it was way long. Like, everybody got their entrance.
Throw this out there, and this is just me throwing something out there. I know it's kind of generic and, like, probably inappropriate, all things considered, but, like, play them down to the friggin' pay-per-views theme, get everyone in the ring all at once, and then you've got more time for the Mae Young Classic or for one of the other matches that could have used it.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't mind the entrances. They went pretty quick, all considering, and it really got to highlight all the women that have gone through WWE over the years.
Like I said, I can't
to get to this historical moment, because it was an important event for WWE.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, they could have saved time.
They could have saved time. They could have. Well, there's 2 matches in particular that should have been half.
Yeah,
that's where the extra time would have been. So Nia Jax just simply tosses out Ember Moon to win. So Nia Jax has a future match against Ronda Rousey yet again.
Which she said on Raw today was going to be after Survivor Series, so I guess that's going to be a TLC. Also, dude, friggin' Survivor Series, Becky versus Ronda.
It's going to happen, apparently.
It is.
I don't know.
Was a good day for Twitter with friggin' Becky disrespecting Ronda. It was pretty great.
That seemed to be the highlight of Raw. I saw the results, and what a waste of time that show was. But
yeah, I did see excited for it after last week's episode, but yeah, that was a mistake.
I'm kind of disgusted though that it was Crown Jewel like all night, and coming off of Evolution, it was pretty much absent for the entire show.
Yep, I'm not watching Crown Jewel, dude. I've got a New Japan show to watch.
Yeah, exactly. We got New Japan to watch. We got something better. And for those wondering, if you Pro Revolution Eve in the UK, the all women's promotion there, which I highly recommend, if you're into women's wrestling, they are having a free show the same time Crown Jewel is going on. So there's your alternative. Bang.
I have a question. Do they have English commentary?
Yes, it is out of the UK, Jay. They speak
I'm
English.
I'm in.
So that is my recommendation there. And it seems Nia Jax and Tamina are going to be in a program. If it's anything like I picture in my head, that match is going to be a travesty.
You're not telling me that you're a fan of Tamina.
I'm not a fan of either.
Yeah, no, neither am I. They can both just leave as far as
There was a highlight of their little 2-minute match they had on Raw like a couple weeks ago where they met, and that was awful.
That was a fatal 4-way, dude, and friggin' Ember Moon won that. Like, they built up Ember for the last 2-3 weeks on Raw, and friggin' she gets fed denial.
Yep.
Because all women's shapes are pretty.
Yep. So Nia wins. Moving on, Io Shirai versus Toni Storm.
This is one of those matches that could have used more time.
It was the shortest match on the card. It was basically exactly 10 minutes. And if you told me before the pay-per-view that the Battle Royal was going to be almost twice as long as the Io Shirai Toni Storm match, I go, no, you said that backwards.
Yep.
So for a 10-minute match, this was really good, but it was only 10 minutes.
Okay. Now, I know we discussed this yesterday, because for the sake of your podcast, if Triple H had booked this in the NXT match, do you think that would have been better?
If Triple H was behind the booking, this would have been probably the match of the night.
Now, also with this being said, we'll get to the NXT thing in a minute, but do you think that he wanted Baszler to have lackeys?
Not yet.
Okay. So it was a...
I think that would have been saved for another day.
Takeover.
Yeah. Well, not even at Takeover. I would have seen that at an NXT taping or something.
So you think it's a Vince thing then?
Oh yeah, Vince was 100% behind this. This pay-per-view, an article came out that Vince was running guerrilla through the whole show, and he was changing shit on the spot and adding stuff to the show and what was happening, and you could definitely smell it throughout the entire pay-per-view.
You know, we didn't get Stephanie McMahon's history-making announcement.
Nope, didn't get anything, and I prefer to keep it that way.
Fair enough. I'm sorry for starting here. I'm a little bit tired.
So Io Shirai and Toni Storm just tore the house down. Io Shirai did a triangle moonsault to the outside, off the top turnbuckle, not the middle one that you usually see like Omega and Ibushi do in New Japan. Shirai she proved to me that she's the best women's wrestler on the planet in this match, and Toni Storm can do that strong style and work with anybody, because from the wrestling standpoint, Toni Storm is great. She can't miss.
She's going to take that title off of Rhea Ripley.
Oh, for sure.
Eventually. For
sure. If Toni Storm wasn't injured when that UK thing was going on, I think she would have won. Because the whole division's going to be built around her.
It is. I'm surprised they didn't put it on, Dakota Kai or something. I get why they didn't, because she's technically not a UK talent.
Well, she is now.
Yeah, she is, but she isn't. But like you said, if Toni wasn't injured, she probably would be champion right now.
There's a lot of Aussies and Kiwis in NXT UK. You notice that?
I have. But with this being said, speaking as an Australian, if we see something from New Zealand that we like, we claim it for our own.
But good on Io Shirai and Toni Storm. What they were able to do in 10 minutes was fantastic. It speaks volumes to them as wrestlers. It was devastating to me as a fan that it was the shortest match on the card, and I think that's unacceptable, considering the fact that it was the Mae Young Classics finals. This was built up for 8 weeks, and then I heard commentary in this moment just go, and Toni Storm wins, and then that was it. There was this whole celebration and everything, and commentary couldn't have given less of a shit about it, it seemed.
Yep.
And I forget how many times I heard Michael Cole say, Toni Storm's a star in the making. She's a rising star, in the making. Jesus fucking Christ, shut up.
We need to know that Tony's a rising star. You don't understand. I didn't know that before Michael Cole told me.
I really hated Michael Cole for this whole pay-per-view.
We all hate Michael Cole. It's to be acceptable.
He was fine during the Mae Young Classic. I mean, he seemed okay.
He doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. So, all right. I'm just gonna go down the rest here. What I got listed, for the sake, I don't care about the order. NXT Women's Championship, Kairi Sane defending against Shayna Baszler. It's their fourth 1v1 meeting.
Fine until the ending.
The match went 10 minutes of... It was great. I really liked it. Baszler has she's still green in the ring, but she's so good at what she's able to do. And being a heel. She's very good at that. She's got that down pat. With the limb work and everything. And then we get to the last couple minutes. What happened, Jay? Jay? What happened?
Well, freaking Kairi decides to, backdrop Shayna into the audience, which just happens to be NXT people.
Yep.
And once you know it, happened to be her freaking MMA buddies, who then proceed to get involved in the match because women can't do it by themselves, pal.
Yeah, I believe this is 100% a Vince move. And
I 100% agree, and it was weird, and I didn't like it.
No, there was what, 4 instances where the ref blatantly sees the person coming, sees the interference happening, and then turns away. So the ref irritated me there. Jessamine Duke and what's the other one?
Maria Shavi?
Shavi or whatever her name is.
Something like that.
So this was their introduction, essentially.
It was.
Happens at a major pay-per-view. So here's where I have an issue with this. And I mentioned this on your cast, Jay, where this is Evolution, the first ever women's pay-per-view. You have the NXT title being shown here. To have this interference in a match like this, at a pay-per-view like this, I think really hinders and hurts not just the match, but just the pay-per-view a little bit more than what it should have been. I think it's insulting, and this is not... If you were going to introduce them at the pay-per-view, do it post-match. Whether Baszler wins or not isn't what I'm upset about. I'm upset with how it went down. Yep. I think you could have had Baszler do something heel on her own, because that's her character, right? That gets Sane pissed off, and then you have Sane beat down post-match with her friends, because you see Sane's going to get revenge or something because Baszler did the heel tactic thing, and then that's when you have the people jumper, or you have Sane do an elbow drop through a table on the outside and miss. That's her own fault. Anything. There are so many different ways. This was just, to me, atypical heel booking with cronies. And I think it ruins the Baszler character. What they've built up as her being this kind of badass individual. And now she just looks like she can't do it. She can't do it without help.
So you took the words right out of my mouth.
Before all that happened, I really enjoyed the match, though.
Yeah, so did I. Like I said, it was fine. It was it was damn good. And then the ending happens, and it just ruins everything.
Yeah.
It's why companies don't book this kind of crap anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't see it on major pay-per-view. You see it with things being led up to the pay-per-view. Right? But you don't see it at the major event. It pisses too many people off. It hurts the characters. Yeah, it pisses me off too. In the long run, if I'm to look at this from, a story perspective, okay, you introduced 2 new characters, fantastic stuff, okay? You've established kind of that 4 MMA women group, minus Ronda, great. You essentially have a women's faction, also great. That's great. I like that. I really like how now we have a lot established. If this leads to interferences many times over, which I totally see happening, especially with this booking, that's why I got mad. Because that's what it's going to lead to. It's the one-time thing, then, because I slept on this and slept on my thoughts, I think I can live with it if it's a one-time thing.
Okay, but what if we get an Asian faction to go up against the MMA faction.
They'll probably get jobbed out to the MMA faction.
Because, dude, you've got a half Asian in the person who used to be Jade. I forgot her name. In NXT.
Mia Yim.
That's the one. She's Malaysian. And then you've got Air, and you've got Kyrie. Boom. 3v3.
Yeah. I don't see the people who can actually wrestle go over.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Also don't see that happening.
WWE has this like slight hard on right now with the MMA people.
Slight hard on. It's been going on for years.
So the future to me, I'm being overly negative on this, but it is my feelings over it in my opinion, naturally. So,
dude, it's the only reason the freaking Sonya Deville still got a job.
For her.
Yep, for her indeed.
She needs a new gimmick.
She does. On to the match of the night?
No, onto the 6-woman tag match.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Banks, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad in their 1000th combo match.
At least they tried something different here with near falls.
They did. I think the match just kept going though. It was over 13 minutes. Bayley, I will say this. Bayley knocked this out of the park, and Ruby Riot were like, the Riot Squad definitely molds so well together at this point. I mean, they've had 1,000 matches, right? The chemistry works, and then Bayley, since she's had 1,000 matches against the Riot Squad, seemingly, they put it all on the line. Banks, you could tell she put a lot of pressure on herself in the match and tried to overdo certain things. She looked lost at times because she wanted to just do everything. She was visibly like emotional during this whole event, and rightfully so. You know, there's always going to be, you know, a few people that, you know, emotions get the better of them. But hey, I'm still irked that, you know, this wasn't like a fatal 4-way or triple threat number 1 contender match or something where it was Banks, Bayley, Natalya against Ruby Riot. Match was fine. It was much better than I was expecting, but it did go on way too long. Banks won via a frog splash on Liv Morgan.
She did.
Yeah,
she did. It's always different. Like, I appreciate seeing people win without their, like, using their finishes, which we'll get to with the WCW Uncensored thing too.
Yep.
But look, as I said, the match was fine. We've seen it before. Like, if we hadn't seen it before, it probably would have been better. They tried different things with the near falls and crap. But I've just seen this thing way too many times in a row.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for something to happen post-match, but no. The only thing story-wise that happened in the night was, for continuing story anyways, was the NXT Women's title match.
What do you mean something did happen post-match? Sasha cried.
Sasha did cry. She was very emotional. Meant a lot to her.
Freaking rad called that.
Yeah. So, match of the night here coming up. SmackDown Women's title.
I reckon we should lay this to last and get on to the pathetic show that was Ronda versus
No, because the Ronda Nikki thing, that's quick stuff.
Okie dokie. Becky won this match like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, she did. This was match of the night, last woman standing match. This was blood feud written all over it. It went almost 29 minutes. Holy shit.
And it didn't feel like it was 29 minutes. It was fantastic. It was better than the freaking Shinsuke AJ one from earlier this year.
No, it flew by. I like this on the level of Ciampa Gargano's last man standing match. I even like the way this ended more, personally.
Yeah, that freaking ending though could have gone so wrong.
But they executed it well.
They did. I'm just saying, if they stuffed it up, it could have went very badly.
So instead of like breaking down the match, I want to mention how over Becky is through the fans. She's even posting out on Twitter. You know, she said something along the line of, I was prepared to go into this alone, but the fans, you followed me, kind of deal. So,
well, dude, according to Michael Cole, she's got a cult following.
Oh my god, I heard that. Oh.
Are you part of that cult? I may or may not be.
Yeah, the whole arena is a cult following. Like, F off.
Great. Fantastic.
So it's so like they even in the promo packages were piping in boos to Lynch's maneuvers, and we all know that everybody was cheering. Everybody. They're piping in boos to this point. So WWE, specifically McMahon, still hasn't accepted the fact that Lynch is just this larger than life character. To me, Jay, she is the best wrestler and character in the entire WWE right now.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Becky's fantastic.
Like,
Becky is fantastic.
And she has the perfect antagonist. Yes, antagonist, even though they're booking her like a pure babyface, Charlotte Flair. She is the antagonist. She's that like handpicked person trying to overcome, what's thrown over her. And I'll be honest, Charlotte Flair, I think this was her best match of her career, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
She just got into this mode, she like flipped a switch in her, and she was able to execute a character more than just her going out and doing moves. She flipped
a table.
Yeah, there was a table spot where it was too close to the turnbuckle, and as it was happening, I wonder if that's gonna break or she's gonna miss, and it was both. It didn't break. Luckily, she didn't just immediately go up and do the same spot again. She did do a flip instead, which was fine. The Tanahashi kind of senton, flipping senton.
It was a very bad looking swanton, but with that being said, even though she did different moves, still kind of repeating the same spot. Not a fan.
No, it generally doesn't look good because then the wrestler messed up, but at least she did a different move. I would have rather, whenever you see things like that, I would rather they kind of pull an audible and just do that spot later. Try it again later.
For sure.
But yeah, like both characters just kind of flipped a switch, both wrestlers, and looked excellent. Becky Lynch getting really scared when Charlotte kind of rose from the pile of chairs that were on. Becky Lynch sold Charlotte as, what the hell are you doing up? No, I did it, don't hurt me kind of thing. Retreat. She's crazy. I didn't.
Bitch is gonna kill me.
Yeah, bitch is gonna kill me. She should be down. I think the leg drop off the ladder through the announce table should have ended the match personally, but
I agree 100%.
It did lead to that kind of don't kill me moment, and then the power bomb to the outside through the table to end it. Ref botching counts aside.
So I've got a question for you.
Sure.
How many belts do they have? Like, I get it, like the championship, like the women's championship, blah 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 blah. But like, how many copies of that belt do you think they have?
You mean just the standard title with the W inside?
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, like, so with Becky, she dropped the title on concrete, which could have caused damage. Like, how many belts do you think they have of the same title? Is it just the one, or do they have a couple?
I imagine they have a couple. They have a backup always, just in case like their luggage gets lost or something, I assume.
Yeah, no, I thought so, because like there was a couple of times now where it's like,
So, two really good women's matches. If the Io Shirai Toni Storm match went longer, they were clearly handcuffed for time.
Yeah, so it was the NXT one to an extent.
And then you go on to the main event. Ronda Rousey against Nikki Bella. 3-week build, turn, 2 promos. Not much here. Nikki kind of trying to embrace the diva, but not really, doing this Bella-lution thing. The match went over 14 minutes.
It felt like it was more.
It was too long, first of all. It definitely dragged.
It did.
Lots and lots of Brie Bella interference. Basically, rad. Basically, Jay, this match was as bad as I expected, and nothing more.
Yeah, it friggin' Ronda won, which was exactly what I thought was gonna happen. Nikki got dropped on her neck, which looked bad.
Certainly.
Brie gets involved, and that's pretty much the match.
Yeah, Nikki.
A lot of judo throws.
A lot of judo throws. So pacing wise, with this match could have been 5 minutes with the same like executions of everything, and it would have been, I think, a lot better because
This could have been a squash match. It probably would have been even better than that.
Okay, so here's my. I thought about this. So Ronda Rousey is very important for WWE's outlook on the women's division. Without Ronda Rousey, I don't think this pay-per-view would have happened. Because
I can agree with that, but I don't want to agree with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you would wish that a lot of the fans and staff involved in WWE would be behind the women more than they are without Ronda, for sure.
Yep.
That being said, Ronda Rousey's ticket seller, she's a draw. That's very important. You have your draw in the main event. Fine. I get that you can't just book a squash match every time. You have to start somewhere. I think you could definitely lead up to it better than having Ronda Rousey in a 14-minute match against Nikki Bella. Nikki, who's she has a character that takes her through matches, and that's it. She has her kick off the middle rope, which she missed in this match, by the way. She totally missed.
I didn't realize.
Yeah. And then she has her finisher, the Rack Attack 2.0, the TKO. And
the TKO.
That's it. She has zero technical ability. She doesn't do any limb work at all. All she did was push Ronda into posts and shit. That was it.
Well, on the plus side, she didn't try to kill Ronda like her sister would have.
No. So, I appreciate that, we're not just getting squash match after squash match. I just don't think they're going about it the right way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Becky coming up, like with the worker that can actually work.
I'm very interested in how that match is going to go down. And if it's a squash match, the internet will explode.
Yeah, like it's obvious that Ronda's going over, but the question is how?
I actually see the match going into a DQ finish.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, Becky could get herself DQ'd. I could see that happening.
That would be be bad. I also see Nikki Bella interfering.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. But
Continuing the feud
at this point. They weren't on Raw, were they?
No, but they had like a post-match interview at Evolution, and they're like, "This is far from over."
Gross.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
But even with the Rousey Bella main event, this pay-per-view was probably, outside of the Royal Rumble, Jay, this was probably my favorite WWE pay-per-view.
It was good. I would watch another Evolution show if they did another Women's pay-per-view. I enjoyed it for the most part.
1,000%. As long as they're going to, well, first of all, they should have an annual show anyways, but as long as they're going to Saudi Arabia, whenever they go to Arabia, they have to have a women's pay-per-view. I think it's required.
Yeah, we discussed this last night. Like, between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam is a good spot. Now's a good spot. There's a couple of places throughout the year they could do it.
And then especially considering that the build to this was essentially nothing, awful, and the promotion was awful, for it to be this successful and good to see, that's kudos to the women. 1,000%.
With this being said, though, and just throwing this out there, every time this happens, do you want to see the NXT titles on here?
Yes.
Do you want Trips to book them, or do you not care if Vince books them?
Keep Vince out of it.
Vince, these are Triple H's toys. Go play with your own.
So, alrighty. Evolution, raging success of a pay-per-view despite WWE's best efforts. And just to make it clear, this podcast will not be covering Crown Jewel. Period.
Neither will Smack It Down. I'll report on the results of the Universal title match, but I'm probably not going to watch it.
I'm not even going to do that.
Yeah, well, new champion, dude. Kind of needs to be said.
I don't care about that title.
Yeah, it's a fruit roll-up, but like I said, kind of needs to be spoken about.
Well, you cover WWE more than...
Well, that's going to be changing in a couple of weeks.
Aha.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, let's get on to WCW Uncensored 1998, Jay's first ever WCW pay-per-view. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts, and that will finish out the... Play a drop here. Ooh.
Is it obvious that I'm tired?
No. You just seem quite relaxed.
I'm probably going to fall asleep here soon. Just a heads up. I did message you on Discord, you didn't respond.
Alrighty, WCW Uncensored. 1998.
Yeah.
Going way back. Kinda, sorta.
20 years ago, roughly.
Yeah. So, Jay, you have the agenda in front of you, I hope.
I do.
Why don't, since this is your first ever WCW pay-per-view, have all the matches listed? Take us through it.
So, the opening match after the video package, and we got introduced to our commentators, so forth and so on, was Eddie Guerrero with Chavo Guerrero Jr. versus Booker T for the WCW television title. The match was good. I'm trying to find my notes. Give me a second here. Notes. Okay, first of all, dude, Eddie makes Chavo open the rope, and then he proceeds to jump into the ring, which is good heel work.
It's good stuff, yeah.
And I didn't really write anything else down, like besides the fact that Booker won with a missile drop kick instead of the scissors kick.
Yeah, simpler times indeed, right?
Indeed, like I was really enthralled with this match. It was really good. Booker and Eddie, I don't think I've ever put on a bad match against each other.
No, definitely two guys that are really good. And Booker T hadn't established the scissor kick as a finisher. He was kind of switching between a lot of moves, ending matches, between the Harlem Hangover, which is the flipping leg drop from the top rope, but he tends to...
freaking dangerous.
Yeah, he concussed Rick Martel pretty hard in the previous pay-per-view.
That was like a move that I used to do as a kid on a trampoline. And man, that thing, it's not great. That was my finisher. It's not great. That and the Swanton, dude. That and the Swanton. You can just imagine, like, me as a kid, like, flipping over people. Dude, like, we used to compete for freaking plastic titles, too, like the old WWE replica ones. Like, the world title for us was the IC title, and the mid-card title was the US.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Pretty great. I only ever lost my title once, so I threw the match on purpose. Oh, and I also had an ankle lock, because, like, you can bend someone's ankle and it freaking hurts.
It does hurt. It does hurt. Yeah. Who did you like more in this match, Eddie or Booker T?
Dude, I've always been a big fan of Eddie.
He had a lot of character even going back to WCW. It's good to see.
He did. And Chavo, like I said, Booker T retains with a missile dropkick, and Chavo's got a little grin on his face. I'm tipping there was something leading into this, something about a match where the other person has to obey the other person or some crap.
Yeah, pretty much. You got it.
Okay, cool. Next up, we had Conan versus Hoovy Juice.
Yes, Juventud, man.
Guerrera. I love that guy. So good. Dude, Hoovy hits a nice poetry motion on the outside. Off a chair. Did you see that?
I did see that.
It was good. Freaking, where am I here? Springboard dropkick from Hoovy as well. Conan, what was that move that he did where, like, he was weird looking? Like, sits on his neck after dropping him.
Are you talking about a submission move?
Yeah, he like had him. I don't know how to explain it. It was weird. It was like in the corner. That like he kind of dropped him and kind of fell down and kind of crushed his neck.
Oh, so it's supposed to be like a Mexican surfboard kind of seesaw maneuver, and I think the idea was Juventud wanted to try and roll him up, but Conan usually drops him. So you mix those two together, and Juvi landed horribly on his neck. Crunch.
It didn't look great.
It did not.
Also, they mentioned during this as well, like that Hoovy got unmasked from Jericho or something.
Yes. Yeah, that was at the
Was that
previous pay-per-view.
Right. That would explain that. Hoovy does a nice backflipping counter out of a spider suplex off the top rope, and then Hoovy wins with a roll up after some other shenanigans and stuff in then post-match assault, because that's what WCW is good at.
Well, especially Conan, for sure. Part of the NWO. Yeah. I thought this was a good 10-minute match. I think Conan...
Too. Like, I didn't take as many notes here either because I was just really enjoying it.
Yeah, Hoovy bumped like a madman in this. Conan really just kind of threw him around. Conan has such a large moveset, something which is a major complaint of mine in just watching WWE since like 2000, I want to say 7. It's like 4 moves and then that's it per guy. Conan just threw out so many moves. I'm like 1, 2, 10, 15.
That was heaps.
So they got a lot of work in 10 minutes. This was much like the Io Shirai Tony Storm match. A lot of people say quality over quantity. This was quantity with quality in a short period of time with what they were allowed. Kind of a lost art.
It was really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Next up we had Dean Malenko, the Iceman, versus Jericho. Once again, didn't take many notes. Jericho grabs a sign from somebody who says Jericho is his idol and then tears it up and yells, "I'm too good to be his role model."
I missed that. That is fantastic.
Did you miss it? It was like during the entrance.
Yeah, I did miss that.
Also, one other thing too that kind of bothered me here, friggin', I don't know why they do this on the network, but they dubbed in "Break the Walls Down" as Jericho's entrance music for this.
No, that was his entrance music back then.
Or for WCW.
Yep.
Are you serious? I thought that was WWE music.
Nope.
So what? He had the same song in both WCW and WWE.
He sure did.
That's really freaking weird.
I believe it's his song. It's him singing.
That's really weird. I honestly thought that it was an overdub.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's always had that music.
I can't believe that you missed a sign.
Yeah, I did miss that. There was the management interview prior to that match where they're allowing the powerbomb legal for one night in the Giant versus Nash match.
Yeah, I don't care about that match. My one takeaway from that match was remembering how lanky Kevin Nash is.
We'll get there.
And then he tore his knee and blew it out again, and then I didn't care, even though he didn't really do it, but I expected it to happen.
So Malenko Jericho, cruiserweight title.
Yeah, good 15-minute match, late 90s technical match.
So good.
Submissions pretty much all over the place, and yeah, finishes being protected. Did you see the dude with a laser pointer at the end of this match?
Yeah, that's the 90s for you. The laser pointers were aplenty.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. I thought I was going crazy, because after I saw it, I couldn't see it again. It's like aiming it at Dan Malenko's face during the post-match interview.
Yeah, they always do that in the 90s.
Yeah, it's not a great idea.
Yeah, it got to the point where if you would go into arenas, they'd have metal detectors, and if they saw a laser pointer, they would just take it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You could blind someone with other things.
Yep. It's a laser into your eyeballs.
Yeah, not a great idea.
And it's annoying on TV as well.
Yeah, like I said, I saw it. It annoyed me. I couldn't focus on anything besides the laser pointer.
Yeah. Jericho retains with the Lion Tamer, and this is where Mean Gene has a post-match interview with Malenko, and he calls him out being 0-4 on big matches and a loser.
So what was this for? Starcade? Where else? Sin maybe? Greed?
Arcade. I think he lost.
Havoc.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's lost basically 4 major pay-per-views in a row. Where does Dean Malenko go from here? We actually see Malenko kind of kicking the ropes. He's incredibly frustrated. The most character work Dean Malenko you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So pretty funny. And Mean Gene's getting pissed off at him. Like, what do you have to say for yourself? You're a loser. You're a choke artist. He's calling him out. I really like it. I kind of miss this with... this is why Mean Gene was just so good. He would actually make it seem real, you know? And Malenko just simply says, home. And he goes away.
He did.
Yeah. And if memory serves, I think you don't see him on TV for months. And then he just shows up out of nowhere. And, like, the crowd popped really hard.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One other thing I would like to point out here that I completely forgot was a thing. Dude, remember when freaking TNA had good commentators? And, like, going back here and listening to freaking
Mike Tenay?
Professor Mike Tenay?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so happy to hear his voice.
Dude, Shivani and Mike Tenay are... Oh, it's my favorite. And Bobby Heenan, favorite. Those 3 are possibly my favorite commentary team of all time.
I was all in as soon as I saw the Professor. I'm like, hell yeah.
They work very well together. They're just their voices are great. Everything's presented well. It seems real. There's none of this stupid comedic banter. I mean, that's all Bobby Heenan's shtick, but he doesn't.
Sure.
It's not the whole time, you know.
Dude, friggin' Mike Tenay was like the Mario Ronaldo back then of today. You know, I'll swap that around, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, he could name all of the lucha moves. He could name everything. Like, he just knew what was going on.
Oh yeah. Tenay is in NXT, but I think he's just working like through booking. I was when I saw the NXT signing of Tenay, I was really hoping that he would join commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in friggin' NXT. That would explain where he's gone. I thought he just retired. He's
in NXT now.
Fair enough. Okay, so next up we had the
Raven cut a promo.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I was going to say we had the triple threat, but yeah, Raven cut a weird promo, and the website apparently redirects you to WCW's wiki page.
Yeah, I had to try it out. I saw that Raven was on like a radio show, and it had this this WCW website listed at the bottom. So I was like, I wonder if that still works. And it just immediately redirects to World Championship Wrestling on Wikipedia.
It's kind of funny that someone went out there and bought it. He just like redirects it. It's pretty entertaining. So, dude, we got frigging Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner versus the Total Package.
Yep, White Thunder versus Lex Express. Oh boy.
Dude, the Total Package versus Big Papa Pump. What the free? All right, I Scott Steiner to me.
He's not Big Papa Pump yet.
Yep. Okay, he is to me, but Scott Steiner to me, dude. He's been someone that like he just pops up from time to time in really weird places, and like he's got a really weird shaped body.
He does. He's a genetic freak. Probably didn't know that though.
No, I did. He also did very good
Jay,
math,
come
but
on.
his arms have always looked weird. He's just weird looking.
Well, in the late 80s,
like
early 90s, he looked a lot more normal, and then obviously steroids and shit got into his system. Or I don't know,
I thought when I saw him here, it was going to look normal. It's like, nope, it's still the weird-ass looking Scott Steiner that I've known for years.
Yep. Oh, did he get off the mic stand, please?
Bad kitty.
But this match was a complete waste of fucking time.
Yeah, it was. Friggin' Lex wins with the clothesline to the back.
Yeah, after Rick Steiner came out, distracted, White Thunder over here, pins him, and then 3 minutes. But then again, I don't want to see a Lex Luger match last longer than 3 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, but he's a total package.
Used to be.
What? He's not the narcissist right now, dude. He is the total package.
He is nothing right now. He can't last longer than 3 minutes in the ring.
I saw his thong. Did you see his thong? I saw his thong.
Got a thong on. Thong time.
He does. I saw it. It's
all
black.
Right. So, triple threat U.S. title match. Street fight.
I didn't watch this. I refuse to watch Benoit matches. I told you this before.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll take this. Raven versus Diamond Dallas Page versus Chris Benoit. 17 and a half minutes. DDP retains. Really fun match. It lived up to all the build and the anticipation that we've seen on Thunder for like 2 months. 3 particularly really fun spots. One was DDP being thrown through the uncensored board into lighting. So he's just kind of laying back there.
Did he win after that?
Well, he was out for quite a long time.
Was it Raven that threw him through, or was it Benoit?
They both threw him through it. So they both took out the champ. There was like this kind of makeshift alliance to take out the champion, and then they went at it through a singles for quite some time. Little hardcore spots here. Favorite one was definitely when Raven took Lodi's sign. It said "use my sign," so kind of like an ECW kind of thing going on, and it turned out to be a stop sign, just a giant stop sign, and he cracked everyone over the head with it. And then there was a sort of botched top rope diamond cutter onto a table, and it didn't break. Just kind of tipped over. So
good to say the tables didn't work properly back then.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder if this is gonna break, and it just kind of goes. Oh well, good thing. Good to know that it's happened in 1998 as well.
Yeah.
Come on, Kitty, stop going on the mic. So. Definitely, little spoiler here. This was definitely my match of the night. It wasn't even close. It's always good seeing a longer build deliver, and the characters / wrestlers involved all play their roles so well. And DDP's still champion, so hooray!
Yeah. Now, seeing as I didn't watch this match, my match of the night is either freaking Iceman Dean Malenko versus Jericho, or it is Conan versus Hoovy.
I would probably say the Malenko Jericho match then, in that case.
No, I don't know. Like, they're both really good.
Yeah. Up to this point, every match was given like the perfect amount of time. I feel.
Yeah.
But then
Giant versus Nash.
Yeah, but then we get into the later half of the show. Ooh.
Yeah.
Giant versus Nash. Remember their sold out one? Yeah, that wasn't very.
I didn't see that match, and I'm kind of grateful for it.
Yeah. That was the one where Giant got dropped on his neck. Real bad. Yeah. What happened in this?
Jackknife was banned?
Yeah, that was the story that they made out of it.
And then friggin' Giant hit a jackknife on Kevin at some point?
Yeah, and he got arrested a couple times.
Nice. Oh, and apparently this is when they told me that, like, now it's legal to go over the top rope.
It's legal to do the powerbomb. Yeah.
No. This is also what they told me during this match. Now you can throw somebody over the top rope. Because, like, it used to be a DQ.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, go back and listen to the commentary in this match. I wrote it down.
I believe you. No reason to doubt you. What happened in this match?
People going a lot of punches.
Sure was.
And yeah, a lot of punches, then a DQ.
Would you expect nothing less of the NWO and WCW?
From what I've heard, no, I would not.
Yeah. I expected nothing less of going into this anyways, and 6.5 minutes, fine. It kind of got you hyped up for, the Giant versus NWO stuff, so fair enough, I feel.
Yeah, by this point, had Giant been with NWO and being champion and all that crap?
Was he kicked out of NWO yet? I think he was, and he was definitely champion.
Okie dokie.
This is what I'm hoping happens in the Nia Jax Tamina thing. They go like 5 minutes, and then the Riot Squad just keeps jumping them, so we don't have to watch. We don't get to.
Then they tag together and then beat up the Riot Squad, and then we get the introduction of tag team champions, and then Nia and friggin' Tamina win them, and then no one takes them off them until they get relinquished.
Well, whatever.
By Tamina blowing out a knee or something, which tends to happen.
Yeah, it'll happen eventually, I'm sure. All right, next match.
Do you want to take us through this, dude? Because I don't have any notes for this, because this was during the time where I was trying to just catch up on everything, seeing as though my network was working.
Okay. Well, this was Kurt Hennig with Ravishing Rick Rude as his manager ringside versus Bret Hart. Okay, so it went 13.5 minutes. It was a really good technical affair with Rude doing heel manager stuff. Fair enough. On the outside. And classic Kurt Hennig just overselling things. I love it. Just any move was always twice as devastating looking when Hennig was involved. Hart wins, despite Rude getting involved. Not match of the night, but I didn't hate this match at all. It was good. It's with the guys involved, I kind of wouldn't expect anything less. I feel that if there was a title or something involved, this would have been given more time. It would have had more build or anything. I definitely think it was a match built on name value, and so fair enough. It was fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought it was fine.
So then the next match was Sting versus Scott Hall with Dusty Rhodes as his manager for the WCW title. Scott Hall's finally getting his title shot after winning the crazy Royal Rumble thing, Battle Royal. Yeah.
It's the Rolling Stones, baby.
This was basically a very similar match to what we just saw with Hennig and Bret Hart. Instead of technical, we got more kind of power moves. They're power wrestlers. They're bigger guys, so it makes sense. I did get a kick out of Dusty Rhodes kind of sneaking into the ring, doing this cartoon tiptoe, and then doing an elbow drop and making it seem like it was the most devastating thing ever. And the crowd bought every minute of it.
They did. Dude, it reminded me of Sheepdog and Wolf.
Sheepdog and Wolf?
They came on the PlayStation 1?
No.
Okay. There's a tiptoe fixture, and it's every time you tiptoe, it's do like with piano, going from.
Oh, the Looney Tunes thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this was. So, even Brass Knuckles got involved with Scott Hall and Dusty, but hey, Sting ended up retaining. The match was only 8 minutes. I kind of wanted more out of this match personally, but they were clearly strapped for time at this point.
We're out of time. Yeah, he went off a counter to the Outsider's Edge into a Scorpion Death Drop.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good little counter finish. So fair enough. Guys involved. I would have liked to see the match go, to that 12-15 minute mark, but hey, they were strapped for time.
It's crazy to think that Scott Hall never won the WCW title.
I don't think it's that crazy. He's a tag team guy.
He was popular. Yeah, I know he's a tag team guy and stuff. He was a former US champion, TV champion, everything else. I just think it's crazy that with the amount of people from the NWO that won the world title, that he wasn't one of them.
Well, when you got Hogan, Savage, Sting, all these guys involved at the top of the card, there's just not room for that. That's why you saw Hall always in the tag team picture and the US title picture and whatnot. So fair enough. That's when mid-card titles mattered. You had your established guys at the top. You had everyone else.
Well, whoever was the US champion, didn't they get a tie? You could cash it in from a world title match or some crap?
I don't remember. But that was DDP is the current US champion.
I think that was a thing maybe before WCW, when they were on WA. It's possible.
Oh, yeah.
Regarding Hall and everything, had the Wolfpack happened by this point?
No.
Okie dokie.
W Wolfpack is not a thing, so we're still waiting on that. And speaking of still waiting on, main event time. Hogan versus Savage in the steel cage for control of the NWO. At least
trash.
That's what we were told going into it.
This was trash.
So I have a lot of notes for this match because this was the worst main event I have seen and covered on this podcast.
My notes for this match is Savage and Hogan hit each other with a belt.
So I thought it was strange halfway through. They briefly fought outside the cage. Then they repadlocked the door. So it's what's the point of the padlock if they can just get out whenever they want? Because the whole point of this match was Hogan Savage finally have themselves one-on-one. There's not going to be interference from the NWO. They finally get it, and then until there is. I was like, what the fuck? So Savage is, I will say this, Savage is very enjoyable to watch in cage matches, despite this particular match being a slower pace. He bumps like a machine, he blades, really makes the guy he's up against always look 1,000 times better. We could go back to Savage Ultimate Warrior, early 90s, and then this match, Savage always brings out the best these kind of matches despite hindrances involved.
AKA Hogan.
AKA Hogan in this case. So Savage gains controls and does a double axe handle from the top of the cage and then goes for an elbow drop. This is where things start to get weird.
That's one way to blow out your knees.
It is. So, but hey, the crowd popped hard. I popped hard watching it. He goes up for the elbow drop. You're like, no, just end the match already kind of deal. And then this is where a giant, unarmed, blonde, bearded dude pulls Hogan away and enters the cage.
What are they referring to as the protege? The something?
He is something involved. Yeah, he's Hogan's like protege. His friend to the end. But we still don't know who he is, what his name is, so let's keep it that way for now.
Fine, we'll keep it kayfabe.
Yeah, we'll keep it kayfabe. He's just this big blonde bearded dude that's helping Hogan out. So this is the second time we've seen him.
Dude, wouldn't you know? Like as soon as that happens, there's somebody falling out of the sky.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? Sting drops from the ceiling into the cage.
Well, he lands on the cage and then he jumps into the cage.
Yeah. So there's a standoff with Hogan and Sting looking at the blonde bearded dude and Hogan. So there's been like 5 minutes of just standoff and people staring at each other, and then just seemingly because reasons, Savage clotheslines Sting, gives him a pile driver, spits in Hogan's face, and walks away.
And then Hogan
That's how it ends.
I'm your leader, I'm in charge of the NWO, and then bam, we're out of time.
Yep, we're out of time. See us on Monday Nitro. I'm like, what? Fuck that finish. Fuck that whole angle that they did there. It accomplished literally nothing, and all that build was thrown in the toilet. I like, you want to talk about shitty WCW booking? It seems, and I was talking with Travis, aka Hibiki TMD. We had a whole conversation about, like, you can pinpoint shitty ass main events, whether it's WWF or WCW, and like downfalls of certain eras and time frames, and it's always fucking Hogan. It's always him. It just never ends. Just every time we're just like, yeah, this pay-per-view, Hogan. This pay-per-view, what was the main event? Hogan. What was this one? Oh, Giant was involved, but it ended up having like a bulldozer forklift thing involved. Hogan. And then now this one. And we're going to see more over the course of the year. I believe 98 was also that infamous Halloween Havoc bullshit. Like, it's really bad. Jay, how livid were you when you saw this, or confused, or what do you, like, you didn't have the big, like, 2-month build up to this with all the NWO shit.
You're right, I didn't have any build going into this because I just watched this as a random ass show to watch on the network. As a whole, I didn't mind the pay-per-view. To be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I might actually start watching freaking Thunder with you dudes.
Just for fun?
But yeah, just for funsies. And whether or not I appear on here or not.
Yeah, sure. Well, you'll always be prepared then.
Yeah, pretty much. Friggin' though, like, I don't know, man. Like, you were promised something by the promotion of the match, and it just doesn't happen. And as a fan, like, if I was around back then, I would have been pissed off. But for the most part, the crowd seemed to eat it all up.
I heard a lot of boos, personally.
I didn't.
There was like trash being thrown at the cage, man.
Yeah, but that's because Hogan.
Well, it was also the night product of the.
That is true. Can't do that these days. No beach balls, no fun. But yeah, I agree exactly.
Unless you're Chuck Mambo in progress.
Yeah, because a progress of one rule is don't be a dick. But yeah, like, I completely agree with, like, what you and Travis said. Friggin' Hogan appears to be just the downfall of whatever he's in. Thinking about it now, like, TNA went to crap after Hogan and Bischoff.
Sure did.
This, like, Hogan was involved. Friggin' WWE at some point. I'm sure Hogan was involved.
Yeah. Yep, and they're bringing him back. So what do you think's going to happen?
Dude, he's a real Saudi Arabian. I don't know.
Oh my god, yeah, he was bragging on Twitter that he's happy to go to Saudi Arabia.
That doesn't surprise me knowing Hulk Hogan. But
oh boy.
Yeah, like as I said, I'm probably gonna end up watching maybe Thunder or Nitro after this. Figure out where exactly it takes place, and see if they even talk about what happened here on one of those shows and go from there.
Well, the good thing about watching Thunder is it's the B show, so think of it as like watching SmackDown, you know?
Well, not by today's standards of SmackDown.
So, well, SmackDown 6 then. Think of it that way. Because you see a lot, you don't get oversaturated with like all the Hogan and Savage nonsense that Nitro is filled with.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of the other talent that kind of they were the ones that migrated over the years, generations. So
right.
that's kind of the yeah, exactly, and that's kind of and Rey Mysterio and Benoit, all those guys, and they eventually leave and do the whole radical thing in WWF, and it'll be interesting going through it. I'm really enjoying watching Thunder, and it's nice and quick. It's like an hour and a half, so
that's not too bad.
Yeah. Alrighty, that finishes out Uncensored 1998, and as I do, just right fast go through the podcast rankings, and then we can get the hell out of here. Sound good, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can plug yourself once I'm done. So I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna go New Japan first because everything else kind of rolls together. This was a very women's wrestler centric podcast, and that's kind of the main wrestling that's been going on lately. So here's the rankings. New Japan first, as I mark down time. Alrighty. Number 1, I have Minoru Suzuki. Number 2, Ishii, Rev Pro title, naturally. 3, Shingo, best of the tag league in singles. 4, Zack Sabre Jr. 5, Goto, Rev Pro. And then 6, I have the Time Splitters, because I couldn't really decide there was one guy better than the other. So what I'm going to do is actually just split the points between the two guys.
Technically, I don't think they're the Time Splitters.
They are the Time Splitters.
No, the Time Splitters was Kushida and Shelley.
Well, now it's Sabin, because they're Motor City Machine Guns.
You just... yeah, okay, whatever. Yep, because keep going.
Why? Do you know for a fact that they have a different name?
No, I'm just saying that, like, the original Time Splitters was Shelley and Kushida, I'm pretty sure. I think
it interchanges between the guys, to be honest.
Okay,
yeah.
I was just saying, I'm sorry.
7, Roppongi 3K. 8, Ishimori. Nice to see him on the list. He's definitely been a standout. 9, Desperado and Kanemaru. Got to give the champions some credit, right? And then 10, Tiger and Liger. So getting the getting the vets some respect there. WWE, shouldn't be any surprise what's happening here. Number 1, Becky Lynch. I don't think that's any question. 2, Charlotte. 3, Toni Storm. 4, Io Shirai. 5, Kairi Sane. 6, Undisputed Era for their NXT work. 7, Shayna Baszler. 8, Dean Ambrose, despite how I feel about the timing on his heel turn. Nothing happened on Monday Raw, by the way. He just kind of stood there in the audience, scowling.
He's got a weird mouth.
9, Rhea Ripley. 10, Nikki Cross. I really liked her.
Colin's going to be very impressed with you by putting Rhea Ripley on the list.
Yeah, he certainly should be. Alrighty, that takes us into tier 3, which is the indie stuff. 1, Tessa Blanchard. 2, Kento Miyahara, something we didn't talk about on the podcast, but he got back the All Japan title from Zeus in a match that won up their previous match. I wasn't really a fan of their first encounter, but Miyahara just really stepped it up. A lot of All Japan fans are kind of upset that Miyahara already got the title back, but to me, Zeus wasn't working as a champion. Glad he got the title, but I'd rather Miyahara have it. He's the ace of the company. 3, Michael Finn, the Danish dude. He's got this, he wears like 3 sunglasses, a fur coat, he raps. speaks English. He speaks I think he speaks German as well. I watched like 3 of his matches that went up on WXW because they have Body Slam on there now. And he's very fun to watch. There's a reason why he's been champ for like a year and a half.
Fair enough.
Yeah. 4, Mako Satomura. Shouldn't be any surprise. 5, Mercedes Martinez. 6, ACH. 7, AR Fox. He was in that 7-man elimination match in Lucha Underground. He goes by Dante Fox there. Man, it's good to see him wrestle. I mean, I don't watch Evolve.
I was gonna say he's gone for like most of the season until like last week.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Evolve anymore because of how good it is, but AR Fox is the original there. He is super fun to watch, and he's very talented, and he pulled it all together in that 7-man match. 8, Johnny Mundo. He's been killing it in Lucha Underground, Impact, so there's that. 9, Jake Strong, kayfabe breaking ankles. And 10, Pentagon.
Tessa Blanchard's not on the list?
He's number 1, man.
I didn't catch that. My bad.
And then the women, which was so hard. It was so hard to rank them. But number 1, I have Becky Lynch. Number 2, Tessa Blanchard.
Number 3, Charlotte Flair.
Number 3, Mako Satomura. Number 4, Toni Storm.
I thought you were going to do Charlotte, but okay.
Oh, wait. Uh-oh. I messed up. So above Toni Storm needs to be Charlotte.
So what's that, number 4?
Yeah, Charlotte's number 4.
Gotcha.
Forgot to put her. Ooh, good catch. Charlotte. All right, 5, Toni Storm. 6, Io Shirai. 7, Mercedes Martinez. 8, Kairi Sane. 9, Chelsea Green.
Good. She's great.
She is great. She's the hot mess. That one-on-one match with Pentagon was quite good. And then 10, Shayna Baszler. So, very heavy, women-centric episode. Good for rankings. Like I always do, upon the episode's release, I will put out the updated ranking tables on my Twitter at BowlingJD or Redleaf Retrocast. Look them both up. Good stuff here. And I haven't caught up with the Stardom's tag league that's going on. I've watched a few main events, but they're really just their typical kind of tag matches. I'm not the biggest Stardom tag team match fan. I really like that for their singles matches. Jay. Yeah. So why don't you do a plug for yourself, Jay, and what you're about, where they can find you, and then we can get out of here.
Do that. I find it really interesting that Stardom is doing a tag league right now at the same time as New Japan.
Yeah. They always do that. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at TheVivalajadi, which is at TheVivalaj. I stuffed that up. LAJD. Never mind, I'm freaking tired.
Right, I don't blame you.
Or at Smack It. What was that?
I don't blame you.
Yeah, pretty much. Or at Smack It Down Pod, which is the podcast Twitter.
All right. So definitely go check that out. All of his information's in the description of the episode, as well as a link to the YouTube channel, email for any questions you want to send us, and definitely hit us up on iTunes and Stitcher and leave us a nice little review. I need it. I crave it. I want it.
I reviewed you. I don't know if it helped.
You wrote a review for us? Oh, so nice.
Like, it's really weird though, because like Australian reviews that actually count the overall thing.
I think they're separate for. So I should get an email about it. I should get an email from it eventually.
I did this ages ago, dude. I'm pretty sure.
Oh well, I have no way to check it. Too bad.
Damn. Oh, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's there. It's a review. I have it now. So this has been the Red Leaf Retrocast, Wrestlecast Edition, Episode 16, Global Wars Evolution. Thank you for joining us. This was a super fun episode, and finally, an episode under 3 hours.
Yeah, just 2 hours and 30-something minutes.
Yeah, fantastic. This is we're getting better. The fantasy promotion stuff took up a lot of time at the start, so. But
for once, my podcast went longer than yours this week.
Good. All right, I'm gonna cue that NWO music, and we're out of here.
All right, thanks for having me. All right, I'm gonna say.